make it to second, but it becomes very difficult.
Yeah.
So they can't really give anything up if they want to have an even chance of doing it. But also, they're still fighting for that third place seed. T1 is only one series win behind them, and that obviously decides your opponent in the first round, so we'll see how that goes. Ash going to be banned away. And remember, Henna hasn't been big on playing the Ezreal.
That is true.
So it is a little bit lower priority we've seen since the nerf, but definitely a big pick for aiming. We'll see if they opt to ban it away. They'll Blanc ban, 100% agree with that off the bat. Kalista going to come through as well, so really trimming down a lot of the powerful laners from Henna right now.
And maybe they just ban 3 of them. If they ban Zeri as well, then that is kind of Henna's champion pool. He is then able to play, I mean, I don't know about Varus after the changes. It was, of course, one of his favorites. Xayah, another one that he's lent on, as there is the Ezreal ban that you were talking about. Things like Rumble, Aurora, all of these picks still up and available with only 2 bans left to go. There are a lot of things to look out for, and this is what I was wondering about. So they are just going to stick with this 80 carry hype train. Of course, the Lucian, a little bit more of a mid lane ban here, of course, and is alluding to a Corki first pick, as Aurora is going to be picked up as far as the final ban is concerned. So good to see that. Showmaker has been playing it in at least one of his accounts on solo queue. But obviously, it fits in. It's a Showmaker champion through and through. This guy was Zoe connoisseur, and Kingan's now going to get Rumble as a result of all this.
Yep, which, you know, I think is pretty strong pickup, but now turns to BNK Fearx and what they can get. I think the Vi would be pretty fantastic. You could slam the Zeri as well. This is the comp that's been working for them. It allows you to give counter pick over the closer, and you can really piece something together with that third pick. We'll see what D+ will go in return, toying with ideas in the jungle. Do they want the Maokai? Do they want the Sejuani?
I mean, I don't really like Sejuani into Vi. We often see Vi picked into Sejuani to try and deal with it. Of course, you can shred down that armor relatively well.
I also think that in terms of picks Showmaker's been playing, a lot less melee picks. He did play Sylas with the Sejuani earlier this split. Didn't really have too much of an impact. And also Sylas a little bit weak on the current patch after the changes. So
yeah.
Maybe just going to pick an 80 carry here. I think probably would make more sense. They have locked in that Sejuani, though. We'll see what they opt. If they want to secure something for aiming, the Kai'Sa is still available, and obviously a pretty fantastic pick for him. But instead, looking like they might secure something for Showmaker.
Oh my god, just Qiyana. Just don't be scared. Just do it. Just show us the supreme display of talent. It's going to be Kai'Sa locked in. I actually kind of thought that this makes the most sense to me. Aiming, of course, is a fantastic Kai'Sa player, and they do have a setup for a dive-style composition. I expect to see things like Yasuo banned away, but I don't think you can ban everything that Showmaker can use in a dive comp.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's true, but it's also, you know, Showmaker has lent towards particular picks. I'm not sure how likely it is he'll play those, and Poppy ban going to come through respecting that potential pick from Moham.
Yeah.
Kellen, obviously not.
He's only played it 1 time so far, but it is something that he has picked up a win on. Yeah,
good into Vi. They decided to secure the Kennen into the Rumble, giving Clear a good matchup, but that means probably going to see the pairings with Vi banned. Talia being the first one, Ari probably the second one that would expect.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind the Ari ban, as anything with a Vi, synergize as well, is probably worth taking away, making sure that Showmaker's matchup isn't that bad. It's weird that Corki's still up and available.
Yeah, it's not been a big Showmaker pick, but you have a lot of AP damage on your team comp. You know, Kai'Sa doing a lot of AP damage, Rumble as well. So an 80 mid would fit with that well, and they do ban the Yasuo, concerned about that. But Yone's still open and available. It is a pick that Closer can take. They don't have an AP jungle, but they have an AP top, so they would be okay to do that. We'll see what they go for in this situation, though.
Is the Yone just going to be the ban on this side? I'd expect Ari. I think it's still a little bit more dangerous.
Yeah, I think so too.
But the Alistar going to be taken off the board instead, so we're not going to have that.
Alistar pretty good into the engage picks you want to pair with the Kai'Sa, good into Nautilus, good into Leona. They end up going for the Rakan.
Ooh. I feel like Rakan's a bit dangerous.
Is squishy, and there's a lot of AoE already from this D+ composition, but they want to layer that engage, and it has worked for them. Ari's still open and available, but they leave it to last pick. They want to see what Showmaker's bringing out. Does he go for the Yone in this situation? Would provide the AD, would pair nicely with the Sejuani, but I think they'll probably just pick support first and give themselves some time. Nautilus, a lot of value here. It's a fine matchup into these Rakan, also good against Zeri, and they actually do lock in that Corki, so a strong pick, not something we've seen so much from Showmaker, but fits with the composition, and it's probably just going to be that Nautilus locked in, a great answer to the Zeri.
Yeah, the Nautilus answer to the Zeri makes a lot of sense, but I feel like Rel would be so powerful just in the composition. Still having Depth Charge just to get guaranteed CC is a good move as closer. This is an old favorite of his. He was an Aurelia one-trick when he debuted on T1 all those years ago. This would be an absolute monster pick if he does go for it. Instead, the Sylas going to be considered, and the Yone going to be locked in.
Yep, so securing the Yone instead of going for the Ahri, I think the Ahri might have had a rough time in the lane against the Corki. It's not that the Yone is going to have prio, but he just kind of weathers the storm in most matchups. So much sustain from the Fleet Footwork and the Doran Shield. So not as much power in the mid lane. I am a little bit concerned about the fact that D+ have a lot of lane pressure. But in terms of the 5v5 dive, I mean, both teams have fantastic tools, but I feel like it's just going to be a clash, you know? Both of them have so many engage options, so much dive potential, and it's going to come down to that execution.
I think I'm going to have to ask Jonas Strong to put the team fights in half speed, because I think that these could be over extraordinarily quickly. Everyone is just going to press all of their buttons, and things are going to explode. So what it kind of seems like to me, not a whole lot of tankiness, a whole lot of damage on both sides of the Rift. One thing very much worries me, though, and that is the fact that Kingen has been really, really good on Rumble, and Rumble is mega broken at this point in time. Still, even after getting a little bit of a tap to his Flame Spitter, he is still out of control, and aiming has maximum comfort on his Kai'Sa, as this guy came prepared. He is not going to get hurt if anything happens, and it says Fearless Foxes, of course, on the helmet, but he's wearing protective gear. Doesn't that make you seem a little bit more fearful?
Maybe the protective gear allows him to be fearless, you know?
Aha!
It's like when Morgan was playing Ornn, right? Very tanky, allows him to just be at the forefront.
Hey, that's a really good point. So, still definitely very fearless. We'll see whether B&K can grab themselves a win here. Even a game means a lot. Let's jump into the Rift for game number 1. Okay, B&K fans are extraordinarily loud today, or someone messed around with my headphones, something like that, but that was pretty extreme. Very much like it, though. So many of our teams that weren't the most popular have definitely gotten a whole lot more fans.
So
recently.
Moham has gone Ignite for the lane pressure, but that means no exhaust.
We saw the Gigachads do this in their last game before they... Do you remember that last Slicing Maelstrom?
Yeah, I do. There would be a ton of exhaust value here. I'm not going to immediately discredit the decision because I understand it. You're playing, as you said, D+ have strong lanes. They do want to get advantages here. The Nord and Kai'Sa should have pressure into the Zeri Rakan pre-6. And with Ignite, you can capitalize on that. But this means if it gets to team fights, you know, the Kennen, the Yone, really going to be hard to deal with.
Oh, 100%. I think having access to it against Clear is going to be incredibly important. Clear also going for the Electrocute version of the Kennen. Does make a whole lot of thematic sense, but we do often see the Airy picked up with Kenny. Electrocute pretty good on the current patch, though.
Yeah, a lot more. It got changed to have a lot more early power, so especially if you can get the stun proc in lane and proc Electrocute at the same time, it's a decent burst of damage.
Still. Now D+ going to be starting off here on the bottom side. Moham coming in with a difficult task, trying to dredge up the Nautilus from the bottom of the seas when it comes to this loss streak.
That's an LCK loss streak.
Hey, that's
Moham,
true.
He's been in challenges.
Hasn't had the greatest of win rates on it, but that's another hook that's going to connect. Duro taking so much damage. There is the Ignite. All right, well, Duro's just going to go home. Does now have his heal on cooldown, so it was an even trade of summoners as well.
Yeah, that's the pressure you can get, and the heal really ineffective against Ignite. That's specifically why it's so powerful into heal, just because it cuts down the healing. So Duro, low enough that he feels like he has to recall. We do see this cross-map developing where Raptors moved over to Lucid's blue side after we saw that early bot side invade from Lucid. Henna keeps applying the pressure, though. He's not scared, even though he's without his support for a little bit longer. The big concern is it is going to be level 3 being hit in a second by D+, as you can see, aiming just hits it. And Juro far away from that level 3 and doesn't have his W available. Which is a big ability to be without on Rakan.
And Showmaker pushing up in this mid lane. Hasn't really been an adopter of the new version of the Corki, but really did like the old one. The more packaging magic damage variety of the Corki. So we'll see how he does go here. Has certainly played a few games so far this season, but it hasn't been a standout pick for Showmaker so much, we could say.
They're actually so vulnerable. Juro's still not level 3. He doesn't have his knock-up. They actually could dive this.
Yep, they're going to go for it as Grand Entrance is going to get a bit of value, but there's the permafrost. There's the first blood. Moham tanking up the turret beautifully. And Henna does have a control ward here, so he might be able to get a little bit of damage down. The extender beam will be avoided, though, and Henna not able to get any joy in this one. 1,000 gold the lead at the end of that play for D+.
Even with the Grand Entrance coming in from Juro, it's not enough to be able to dissuade the dive coming out from D+. This Rakan very squishy, and they end up focusing on him. The barrier from Henna, no value when you are not the focus target.
And I love to see this from Lucid, because I think our biggest criticism has been basically just for his Sejuani and its lack of proactivity early on in the games. And so really good to see him going for that really early dive and finding some success with it as well. Q going to go wide here as Showmaker has just teleported back to the lane. Moham going to turn up. Look to see whether he can get anything here alongside Lucid as well, who is moving in. Moham can opt in for some sort of move, but doesn't have his flash available. Duro turns up as well. Hook is going to go wide. And Moham is just going to help Showmaker make sure that this wave crashes into the turret. Nice phosphorus bomb damage there as well. And D+, you mentioned this already, the fact that they have a lot of priority in these lanes. Kingin with a rare usage of a different skin for Rumble. Kind of crazy.
Yeah, the Badlands Rumble, I think that one is.
Yeah.
Looking pretty cool with the big... Threads.
Aiming. Going aggressive here as the barrier will eat the Void Seeker.
Yeah, pretty low cooldown, so, you know, it can be useful just to trade it for a big burst of damage, as you're going to get from a Kai'Sa, rather than going super low and being forced out.
All right. He's going to tank first and kill the Rakan. That's what he said. I autoed, take the Rakan, and then he's going to flash.
Yeah, pretty straightforward. Played it as well as you could imagine.
Yeah, called it.
Here, kind of trying to threaten.
Yeah, watch out for W.
Good moves.
Clean.
A lot of confidence for a player who obviously hasn't been in the LCK for a long time.
Oh, he's Hex flashing. He's looking for it, finds the auto onto Henna. There's a Void Seeker landing as well. Fair bit of extra damage. The hook is aggressive as we check out the mid lane here as well. Closer went in and goes out again, much like Yone does really like to do, as Raptor is going to get started on these Void Grubs. I think he's going to have a little bit of a Bristle and Sejuani problem, though. And he may just have to vacate the area because there is so much extra advantage. Kingan's got Equalizer. He has to get out.
Yeah, we do see Clear TP back in, so maybe with some backup they can contest this, but they are trying to figure out if that's what they want now. No supports have moved up. It's just a 3v3.
Yep, Lucid comes in, finds the Arctic Assault as Equalizer goes down. Closer going to get very close to being stunned. He will be going back, and there is the Slicing Maelstrom. Clear almost able to do it and will finally lock down his opposite number. It's a 1-for-1. And the Grubs do go the way of D+. I think Lucid should be able to get all 3 of them in the end.
Yeah, looks like actually he's going to do it. Looks like he was a little bit tentative, but he will go for it there. Clear getting humongous value from the Kennen ultimate, but not enough to turn around that rough start to the fight. Put it in favor of D+.
Oh, there's the hook. Oh, Duro. He's going to get depth charge. Aiming is actually just going to go straight into the Grand Entrance. Ignite was ticking down, but the last tick not enough. That's why you drink your potions. And aiming with a little bit of a mistake there.
Yeah, clutch from Juro. Not sure how intentional it was, but it definitely ended up working out to knock up aiming as he flew in. The ult from Henna making things a little bit dangerous there. We'll see the replay. And I think the problem is that Raptor gets engaged on here. Doesn't really get to do much in the fight, and the ult chunks him out a fair bit. But now Closer, you know, his E not getting a ton of value, and he's focused down. The Kennen ult really the hero for BNK Fearx. It could have been a 3-for-0 if Clear didn't just shred everyone there.
Yeah, and Clear also surviving, utilizing his dashes all over the place to make sure that he gets out with very, very low health. The Unbound Soul helping in a big way. So, as the dust settles, a 1-for-1 there, but they did manage to collect the grubs. And so D+ probably feeling a little bit unfettered by the fact that that didn't necessarily go the best. But the big problem is the fact that that kill goes over to Clear, and he was already going to be an issue that D+ didn't have a lot of tools with. And so in goes Lucid. He is going to throw the ultimate away, but it does not matter. Permafrost is going to be enough, and Aftershock hadn't even gone off yet.
Look at the ult on Clear, the timing. It's up in like a few seconds.
God.
Legitimately, if he had that, could have been a completely different situation. So the timing, almost perfect from D+. You could see Clear moved away from the tower to dodge the ult, which unfortunately wasn't enough to get him out.
Oh, Raptor going to get over the wall, looking to steal away the red side jungle here. I believe D+ did return that favor, or at least started the favor by clearing their top side as well. You can see there's a lot of vision up there. As Duro going to put down this ward that will be immediately cleared. Clear walks up the red carpet and does have the slicing maelstroms. Going to get the flash out of Kingin, who just bails. And he is not feeling as fantastic about that trade after all.
Yeah, a little bit overzealous there. Didn't have the backup from the team, and Clear does a good job of turning it around. And now Raptor starting this Dragon up. The team are moving to cover. Duro's still level 5. No ultimate on this Rakan.
Yeah, there's a pincer maneuver though as the cease and desist comes in. Showmaker just flashes away. Grand Entrance just barely catches the Corki. This is what this comp does. They identify a target and they will kill it.
Even without the Rakan ult, they still manage to get what they want. So much committed, but the engage works. And honestly, this Corki might continue to be a target when it comes to these 5v5s for the side of BNK FearX.
And they are just a bit of a best friends club, aren't they? You know, they rotate together and they take kills together. And it is working out here as Closer able to pick up a plate there in mid lane as well. We'll check out this one. This was the good one for D+.
Yeah, and it's good moves to move away and dodge the ult initially. But again, no ult, isn't able to stack the stun on Lucid quickly enough. And then here, the call comes in, they know what the plan is. They commit on a Showmaker, and even with the flash and the Valkyrie, the Rakan just being able to dash to people and then go a bit further just makes a difference in those situations.
Really does, as Kingin is taking a lot of plates. Clear, not a lot of options with Lucid in the vicinity. And Raptor's going to turn up, but that was already a lot of minions that did go down. I believe it was a cannon that did tank a lot of it. So at least Clear gets in for the rest of them. As Hook gonna just barely miss onto Duro, who does a grand exit the whole situation. And in the meantime, Clear does have a big minion wave to deal with, but 10 CS behind on this cannon at this stage. In the plates is the big part, right?
Yeah, that's going to be a pretty sizable disadvantage there. And obviously both these AP top laners, we've seen them countless times take over games, just being able to do so much damage, dictate these 5v5s. And obviously we talked about no exhaust being there for the cannon, but also, you know, Rumble with so much CC on the side of D+, going to get so much value if he gets ahead.
Yep. Looking forward to seeing whether Moham can actually get a depth charge in line, you know, so that Lucid can set up for the Glacial Prison. There is, with guaranteed CC, having these skill shots, they're not skill shots anymore after that. And so the equalizer value, Glacial Prison value is going to be massive. Well, looking for a bit of an angle here. RBNK as Raptor goes in, looks for Lucid. Cease and desist comes down. The Grand Entrance is glorious. And the equalizer not really doing what it wants, but it does take down a grub. Not too bad there. There's the slicing maelstrom from Clear. He holds it for the last second, and now Showmaker, he gets ulted on. Not going to get knocked up by the Q, but he knows that he's dead. Aiming can do nothing. Isn't even able to lock down that cannon at the end, and D+ lose the gold lead.
And this is what BNK FearX does best. When the engage comes in, it doesn't feel like it's 5 players. They are one team in unison. You can see they went for Lucid initially, and as he moved away with a flash, just a follow-up, it's pristine. You watch it here, so initially they go for Lucid, he's about half HP, they're like, he's a good target, and watch Closer's ult, immediately there to follow up on the Rakan. Lucid just goes down pretty quickly, and the equalizer, there's nothing to keep them on top of it. The ensuing fight, Clear finds his window as D+ look for the re-engage, and the ult is still there from the Vi. This is why having so many sorts of engages works so well for this team.
Yep, and Kingin just needed to be a little bit more patient there, right? Like, if they had have dove on top of Lucid, but then the equalizer was layered down, the story becomes so incredibly different. Unfortunate there for D+. Could possibly make something happen next time around, but it's just going to be a little bit of a fight for the scuttle.
And the big thing is, Clear 3 kills now on the Kennen, and Closer 2-0-3 on Yone, the main beneficiaries of that fight. And those picks are not the ones you want to be fed when going up against BNK FearX.
100%. And now you can see in a side lane is Closer on his Yone. I don't think Showmaker is going to be too happy with how this one is going to turn up. You can see D+ still making some proactive moves, looking to clear out vision around this Drake. First Dragon hasn't gone down yet, and it is almost plate fallen season. That is a pretty late first Dragon, and it looks like no one really cares about it. Kind of weird.
Yeah, I feel like teams just cautious about getting stuck on the objective. We've seen that, backfire there with D+. So a bit tentative about getting stuck on the Dragon and getting engaged on. And it definitely feels like the focus of this team has been more about getting these kills in the bag, getting leads on the map as well. Even though obviously 3 kills on that Kennen, Kingen still very fed on the Rumble with all those plates he secured earlier. And it feels like, this has been a consistent theme with the red being stolen, but looks like Moham is here to put a stop to it.
Well, he's going to try to. I don't think they know exactly what's going on here as finally the ward goes down, but Raptor has achieved his goal. We'll start off the Dragon now. Vision is in this pit. So DK, they have an opportunity to make something happen. Hex Flash over, Arctic Assault over, and it looks like it may be just traded for a Rift Herald after it's all said and done. So not really too much to occur.
Showmaker no TP and had to back to pick up Triforce is obviously a big spike, so not great timing. Looks like Kingdom wants a solo kill here.
Yeah, or maybe not a solo kill because Clear is gonna have to worry about a Nautilus and about a Sejuani as in comes Lucid. He's gonna nail the ulti this time. Max range hook, and Lucid locks down the kill with a little bit of help from my friends, Kingen says, and he's able to get it done.
One of these situations where you know what's coming, but there's not much you can do to stop it. And now it looks like follow-up on a Closer.
Yeah, I've seen this one before. Aiming's going to turn up as well. You may as well just bring all of your buddies as they take down the turret. Nothing Closer can do. My goodness, he just got torn to shreds. And there he goes. A big advantage here for D+. The fact that they get first turret blood and 2 kills, that has really skyrocketed the gold.
Gonna get Herald off the back of this as well, and Closer TP's top, but it was too late. I think at that point with the tower so low, Clear definitely didn't want to be there. But Closer joining just makes it worse, and Clear just not respecting the lack of vision on this top side. So pushed up, so much damage done before the dive even starts. And honestly, I think the correct call here is Closer just keep pushing bot. Leave Clear to die. It's too late already, but he commits to TP too late and then ends up being prey to the same fate.
Yep, it's a freshly stacked wave there as well. And so Closer with his Unbound Soul, he is definitely going to die. Yeah, pretty elementary. And unfortunately, like after BNK had such a good play on the Grubs, it is, you can see the good play. It's a little blip. You see a little blip there. But then the blip was kind of undone.
Definitely feels like this team really knows what they're doing in terms of team fights, but sometimes the macro decisions can backfire. They are now committing heavily to that bot side to pick up this tier 1 tower. Showmaker going to play very defensive, respecting that. This could be a window though for D+ to slam that Herald mid and look for the tier 1.
Yeah, you can see Lucid moving on over here. We'll be able to clear out vision first, but we have a feeling that perhaps Shelly is going to grace us with her presence. Instead, Lucid is just going to back away. Closer getting to work on this turret down here. We'll be able to complete that. Did mean that Raptor could rotate up with the fact that Showmaker just sort of vacated completely. Meant that this could be a look-in at an inner turret. Kingen doing the same thing.
It looks like they're just trying to keep BNK FearX guessing, moving between mid and top, trying to get them aligned in the wrong lane. They then slam the Herald down mid, and there's just too many members of D+. This is going to go down. You can see Closer though walking up. It looks like they want to make this a fight.
Yeah, Glacial Prison does come down. Raptor able to Vault Breaker away from the Arctic Assault as well. Not a whole lot of value picked up here by Lucid, as now the re-engage does come through. Raptor still holding onto that ultimate like we were talking about before. He's so good at choosing his target. The hook, it comes down, the slicing maelstrom gets into the back line. Lucid goes down, and the Kennen value is not as high this time, but it still does its job. Double kill comes through for Clear, and DK just didn't have enough left.
Just as you see D+ trying to move on a Raptor, he creates enough space, and BNK FearX collapse in on them. Once again, the 5v5s is where this team shines, and they're able to answer and get a mid-tier 1 for it. You can see, they see wrapped up to the side. They know there's the potential of Closer moving in, but it's this TP that really seals the deal, cuts off that last exit point. They know they can't catch Raptor here. They start to move towards the mid-tier 1. The Clear's waiting over the wall. The Vial gets massive value here. Charging in with the Rakan, straight on top of the Rumble, who just gets eviscerated.
Beautifully played. The amount of space that Clear provides there, it didn't lock down a whole bunch of kills, but they got exactly what they needed to, and it just zoned D+ out of everything that they wanted. I think a little bit of exhaust regret is probably starting to set in.
And the thing is, think about how bot lane went. Was it enough of an advantage to justify taking the Ignite instead? I don't think so. You know,
I'm gonna go with a no from me.
Yeah. So sometimes it's one of those decisions you make it going into the game. You're like, look, we're gonna win lane, we're gonna crush bot, it'll be worth it. And then you get to team fights and you think, didn't go as we planned. Oh, Raptor should sense something, does back away. So a lot of pressure being applied here.
Yeah.
But BNK Fearax will respect it.
Yep, tower does go down. That is going to be local gold picked up by Showmaker as well. Still building towards his Muramana. Will be ready to transform as soon as he puts that one into his back pocket, and should be coming through relatively soon. Closer as well, item number 2 coming through on a decent clip as well. And he is still pretty far ahead of Showmaker, whose Corki has not really had the greatest of times. Will, of course, be able to get a fair bit of consistent damage down later on, but I just don't know whether he'll have the opportunity with this cannon being so incredibly big and the amount of dodging of stuff that you have to do into this composition from BNK.
I will say that D+ setting up this dragon, and if you look at the items, Showmaker's just picked up the Manamune, Aiming has the Ginsus. Close and Henna, I don't know if they're on a lot of gold, but there's just no way they can fight this right now. They need to get second items before they can look for it, so they'll just give it up. Yep, I think it's a correct decision. You know, you don't have to fight every single one.
Whoa, that's a flash forward from King, and he just gets the ult out of Clear and says, that's my trade, and I'm happy to do it.
Yeah, I mean, all in all, it's a win for Closer. You know, ult a lot shorter cooldown than the flash for the Rumble.
Not anymore. Still a lot shorter than Flash, yeah.
But still, you can see how dangerous this Rumble still is, even though only got 1 kill, all those plates early, giving a lot of gold. And it's still a 1,400 gold lead for D+. Second dragon be picked up is obviously the Ocean Soul, which is not the most impactful, you know, we'll be honest.
Yeah.
Especially with how explosive these fights are. You know, in the longer fights and the poke wars, Ocean Soul can get a lot of value. When you're getting blown up in 0.2 seconds, not so great.
Yeah, and one of the reasons why we sort of stopped liking Ocean Soul, you remember when it first came out, it was like broken, and of course the numbers were overtuned, but we didn't have the massive amount of dive comps. A lot of the reason why we sort of hated Ocean Soul going through was because dive comps was so incredibly popular, and that's what we see on both sides here. So it is the lowest ebb of the value of the Ocean Soul in this game.
We'll say, though,
still going to do something.
Close and Henna both picking up Shield Bow's second item, so that extra durability definitely very high value in this situation.
Ooh, nice work from Raptor there. Even gets the zoom in from Jonas Strong. That's how you know you definitely did a good job, or you missed a cannon.
Aggressive positioning around the Baron, though. It really feels like BNK Fearax are trying to threaten, trying to set something up if the window opens for them. And you always have to be on edge against this team.
You really do. They just kind of make choices, and they all make them together, and it's fantastic, but sometimes they're wrong. It's best to all make a wrong decision together, but sometimes it doesn't stop it from being wrong.
And even then, like, I feel like that's so true in League of Legends, that it's not about making the perfect decision, but, you know, often people feel this in solo queue. It's about everyone being on the same page.
100%.
And BNK Fearax are on the same page, you know, maybe even the same paragraph.
Yep.
I feel sometimes the same sentence.
I think they're writing the same letters.
Yeah.
All just holding onto the same pen, 100%.
Yeah, and again, as you said, sometimes the decision is wrong, but more often than not, they can make it work. Now, heavy trade coming on Lucid, but this will just be a trade.
You'd expect so. Big one is going to go wide, as the Unbound Soul is elected to go back to a little bit early. And Lucid, not really too worried. Doesn't have Warmogs or anything like that completed just yet. Opted in for the Randuins.
Yeah, pretty high value.
Closer would make some sense, yeah.
Yeah. Definitely into both the Zeri and the Yone. And I feel like, honestly, the spikes for the Corki, like 2 item spikes, massive for Corki, 2 and 3. 3 is really big for the Kai'Sa. But, you know, the Yone's Zeri definitely, as the game goes on, get very powerful. So something to be respected when it comes to the game and time moving onwards. Gold's pretty much dead even.
It is.
At this point of the game, which I feel like just adds to the excitement.
It really does. And there are, you know, the 5 grubs, right, from D+. The only thing really giving them any sort of advantage, but it's 3 turrets each. The entire outer ring has been taken down on both sides. So it is merely a grub lead.
Yeah.
And that really doesn't mean too much at all, especially when it's a singular Cloud Drake in comparison to a singular Mountain. And I feel like the Mountain is going to have that little bit of extra value.
Yeah, Eamon actually picking up the Seekers, which, you know, not going, typically we see the Nashers here to get that AP evolution, but this is definitely a high-value game for that stasis effect into like a Vi. So aiming, knowing that he might be targeted. I think that means even more pressure on Showmaker as a target.
Oh, they are going to go into Moham here, who is looking for a way out, but Lucid's going in. There's teleports from top laners and mid laners all over the place. Closer with a decent flank angle, but that equalizer was beautiful. Slicing Maelstrom. Let's see whether it gets the value, but Kingen goes golden, aiming, still trying to get it done as the ulti is avoided. Thereby Closer, but now it's Henna's turn to pop up. They take down the cannon, they're aiming. He gets that value, but is still just going to be cut down. And Kingen just running for the hills. It's a quadra kill for Henna. As Showmaker, he takes down Closer here, gets a double himself, but now Raptor and Henna fancy themselves a Baron.
That's exactly the fight I'm looking for from this game. Both teams dead even. It comes down to a 1-kill edge for BNK FairX, and they'll use that advantage to lead on the Baron, but they don't have enough damage. They're just going to give away.
Yeah, and so Henna does have a whole lot of money now to go back with 505 on the Zeri. She has just become public enemy #1 here for D+. As we'll have a look at it one more time, the engage on the Moham.
Yeah, you can see the double TP comes in from D+ first. They were ready for this, but the engage comes out a lot focused onto the Rakan, who actually survives initially. Clay gets big value from the ult, forcing Showmaker and aiming away. Aiming gets ulted, but then flies into the cleanup as Closer comes back with the Fate Unsealed. So him and Henna just able to shut him down. So unfortunately, aiming didn't get what he bargained for there, and Henna just full HP, cleaning up so well. Showmaker does win the one-on-one with his mid lane opponent, but so much in that fight, so many mechanical plays, so much action, and a lot of summoners down, and now we're looking at a potential another fight here.
Yep, straight into another 5v5 as the first Ocean Drake of the game, and okay, Lucid just walks on over and takes that, so no 5v5, just a steely. It's a bit of a steal moment.
Yeah, just slides in, grabs it. Didn't want to have to commit to the full fight and just...
Whoa, that's a flash forward. The ulti is going to get buffered here, but there is an immediate Glacial Prison. Aiming very safe over the wall, but isn't able to auto-attack now as Showmaker is just dead. Aiming, he waits for Closer to come back. Gets that 1 kill, but everyone else is dying.
The value Closer got there, the ult to buffer the CC, and now they're tentative about going for the Baron, having just lost it. Clear is looking.
Yeah, Aiming wanted to find that Void Seeker as they look for Lucid now. Clear very aware of the fact that aiming is the true target, and Arctic Assault, Vault Breakers, they're just going to trade some places here.
It's 15 kills to 9, and yet it feels like, it doesn't feel like, it feels so close to gold, so even they get closer, this buff is insane. And then using the dash and going in aggressively, the charm from Jura comes through, this double knock-up after the charm, beautiful, and yes, Closer goes down, but the value he got there from being a pick target was massive. And BNK FairX, you know, the health is low, but they have a Rakan, really good for healing of Baron, but they don't want to risk it. They could have just gone over, sustained up a little bit, maybe secured it, but with Lucid just stealing the Dragon, they were a bit tentative to go for that play. They try to look for aiming, Lucid don't find them, and now we go back to that even state. You know, it's a 1,000 and a bit goal lead for BNK FairX, not much at this point. We can look at the individual leads. And you can see, even though Closer, obviously, he got a lot of value, but he was the focus target, Showmaker got focused down by BNK FairX, and he's got so much gold in his pockets that it was definitely a good trade.
Really was. 3-3-1 now for Showmaker, but he has a shield bow as Duro.
Oh, man.
He was just trying to get out there quick smart, and that is going to eat an ultimate here as they do spot them on the Baron. Now Duro just trying to play cleanup. You can see Clear doesn't have flash, but has a pretty good position. They spot him.
It's just gone.
Yeah, this Baron, like, what are they going to be able to do? How can they actually get in here as Lucid is just being bounced? And he is not allowed to get in there. Level 16's hit by both Henna and Closer off the back of that as well. And I think that might have been a big turning point for BNK and there wasn't even a fight to go along with it.
Yeah, mid-tier 2 goes down, but it was so low, it's basically gone anyway. And now it's BNK Fearx's turn with the Baron to get things done. Also, getting pretty sizable amount of XP from the Baron. Look at mid lane, Showmaker level 14 to Closes 16. Henna a level above aiming, despite being 25 CS down. Definitely a big boon picking up that Baron buff, and now looking to push into the enemy jungle, looking to see if they can find any targets to engage onto.
Yeah, Lucid just going to hold this wave here. Does have some wave clear coming, but not a whole lot, to be perfectly honest. So I don't think he's going to be able to do anything about this one. That is just going to be inner turret going down in the mid lane.
The thing with both these compositions is if you're being sieged, your answer is to engage. But you can see D+ are tentative about engaging into BNK Fearx right now. King in, Moham trying to set a trap but won't succeed.
Yeah.
And now they could just look to take this tier 2 as well. You can see Lucid trying to posture.
Yep, they do engage onto Lucid here, looking for the dive angles. Decent assist onto aiming. He goes so deep and he finds his target. The slicing Maelstrom from Clear means that they have nowhere to go. They'll take down the turret as well. And Clear just presses W. Good night to Lucid. That's an ace. And with the Baron, I think BNK just won the game.
There's no safe haven against BNK Fearx. Your turret is meaningless. The engage is so clean. They take down aiming, and they're going to take game 1 in this series.
Oh, gorgeously done. 10, 3, and 7 on this cannon. He was not tired at all this game. Had a really good one. And BNK, they will punish TK.
What a performance. And honestly, you know, I think expectations are pretty high in D+ in this series. The comp, they went mano a mano. Let's see who engages better. And the answer is BNK Fearx in this one. Really strong performance from them.
Oh yeah, and some very emotional fans here. They understand how much it means to be able to pick up any game at all on their run towards the end of the season, because strength of schedule is a bit of a weakness for this squad right now, but not if you're just better. If you just win, it's fine. Every team's fallible, and we just proved that as D+. They got off to a decent start, but I think BNK's game plan was just better.
Yeah, and I think honestly, you know, yes, BNK Fearx have been on an upswing, but a lot of the teams they've faced have been weaker teams, apart from Gen G, who obviously everyone's losing against, but this has been their big test. How does a new game plan work against one of our top squads? And the answer is pretty damn good.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is against the team that sort of designed the way that they're playing at the moment as well. Like DK, they have been a team that sort of was the dive team. That was where they sort of made their renaissance happen as well. And BNK just demonstrated to them how you're supposed to play it. Really gorgeously done. We are going to go to a short break. When we come back, the Space is going to break that one down, and we'll have game number 2. We'll see you there.
세트 바텀.
야 이거 여차하면 진짜 다이브 갖고 와도 된다. 바텀 붙어줄게. 다이브 해보라.
아, 좀 살짝 보던가요.
자 받으려면 다이브해.
나 회오리 나왔긴 하거든.
야 지금 괜찮긴 한데.
갖고 와도 돼, 갖고 와도 돼.
하이사 천천히 볼게.
천천히 볼게.
본다. 하이사.
골키.
나가줘.
야, 들이봐줘.
바텀에 있다, 바텀에.
쭉 가야 돼.
바텀 나 봤다.
쭉 가야 돼. 자, 올려. 나이스. 쭉 가야 돼. 일단 끝내봐. 어우,
끝내. 끝나긴 한데.
와, 뭔데? 되게 잘해, 우리 팀. 아유, 미안합니다.
잘했어. 아 다음 판 잘했다. 이거 조합이
그래.
너무 좋았어.
조합이 야무졌어. 나이스. 좋아. 뒤돌이. 캐넬이 말이 안 된다.
Didn't really feel like something he was comfortable on. I also think the Sejuani for Lucid, I think he had a fine game, but it's not been their strength. Like Corki Sejuani is the mid jungle for D+, doesn't fill me with joy, so we'll see if they adjust based on that. They are going to start with the Kalista ban.
Yeah, Kalista, Ashe, and Lucian were banned away by DK in the first game. A little bit weird as far as the bans are concerned, really focusing Henna when he can still just play Zeri, and it's one of his favorites.
It felt like they were trying to set up for like an Ezreal pick, but Ezreal was just banned, so it didn't really come through. We'll see what they adjust. Obviously, a lot of discussion going on here. And they will ban the Renekton from Clear.
An odd one, because that did kind of slip through the draft entirely.
Yeah, it does suggest that they have something they want to play in the top lane, and they are concerned about playing it into Renekton, so we'll see what they come up with.
Yeah. A little bit of a weird one, but that's okay. See whether it's going to be Ezreal again by BNK. Of course, if it ain't broke, don't fix it is kind of the mantra. They are still going to ban the Aurora. This one was banned last time around on Red side.
It's good to ban the Aurora and wait and see, because I feel like the Ezreal, especially, like, if they pick Ezreal, you can trade Ashe, right? Obviously, I think Henna definitely leaning more towards things like Zeri, but I think the Aurora, just you throw that one away. It's very much something you don't want to see Showmaker play very strong on the patch. And kind of wait and see what D+ are coming out with the third ban. So they're banning the Rumble as well.
Interesting.
Yeah, so focusing instead of less towards the bot lane, more towards the top lane, trying to deal with Clear. The Kennen is still available. Gnar still available, which are definitely picks he can play.
Does make me confused about the Renekton just because Kennen and Gnar do have decent matchups into it, so you're not as worried. The Ashe going to be banned away here on the red side as Ezreal does slip through the draft this time around. You imagine aiming probably pretty tempted to lock that one away, but the Vi first pick, I think, is the smartest.
Yep.
Raptor was so good in game one.
100%, and it's been a fantastic pick for Lucid. He says that he is the best Vi in the league, and I think right now Raptor challenging. And the thing is, Zeri is such a fantastic pick for Henna, but playing Zeri in a Vi, not the most fun.
No.
The most enjoyable experience, so Lucid now going to be the one with the agency leading the charge.
He's still going to pick the Zeri, of course, even if it isn't necessarily the best time, as Raptor, considering a tree, can certainly counter-engage very, very well into the Vi.
Yeah.
Stop a lot of the follow-up with that Nature's Grasp just because it's so incredibly wide. Get those angles right, and you're going to be doing a lot of work here for the team. So I do like the lock-in of the Maokai. I think the Zeri is a little bit confusing as the Ezreal, the consideration here for aiming, obviously, a fantastic Ezreal player, and Talia Vi to be locked in from Showmaker.
Strong. This is strong from D+. You know, more comfort for Ezreal, and it's one of those strong mid-jungle duos we expect to see from D+. But Corki Maokai, a pretty solid pairing. You know, Corki Trist was the go-to for a long time, but with Trist nerfed down, feels like Corki and the Vi going to give a lot of power, a lot of DPS in the late stage of the game, but also good targets for the Vi player to shut down.
Yeah, I think Clear going to need to play something with a bit of threat as well. Otherwise, this Cease and Desist is going to have so much value on one of these carries, and then you need that last one to be able to get so much work done, but with already the damage that is represented here by D+, with only 3 picks locked in, it is a little bit dangerous to do. So D+ going for a little bit of dive opportunity themselves, as Karma is going to be taken away from Moham. Moham's been playing a lot of different stuff, a lot of different styles of play. I think his Lulu has been very, very impressive as well. But the lane of the Ezreal Karma is just real tough to deal with, so they're just going to get rid of that.
Yeah, maybe concerned if they're going to go for the Rakan again in this situation, or something that could just be vulnerable to a heavy harass lane. Not wanting to deal that with a counter pick. And D+ ban the Rakan, potentially sensing that. Obviously, Jiro got a ton of value in the last one. Interesting, we saw those first 2 bans towards Renekton Rumble and no real look towards the top lane since.
Yeah.
Now the team picking anything or banning anything. Leona ban going to come through, denying that Leona Ezreal that we've seen be so strong. And the question is, you know, I think counter pick for Clear very valuable, but is there something that stands out as a priority that he can take? Would you be willing to counter pick support and see what happens there? A lot of decisions to be made.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think that picking for Duro on 4 makes a lot of sense here. I think making sure that they get a good matchup for Clear is going to be really, really big.
Yeah, especially with the Gnar band. I feel like Gnar possibly could have been like one of the standout sort of blinds, but then, you know, Kennen still an answer into that. I think you just take support. I think it's the safest thing here, unless there's something that stands out as a really safe, stable blind that you're comfortable with.
Yeah, I know Alistair doesn't feel fantastic, but Looks like it's going to be a Kennen lock-in, and there it is,
Okay.
just blind.
Yep, they're so confident in Clear. No, they don't think there's anything that King can bring out to match it, but he's looking at the GP, which definitely can be a thorn in the side of Clear, able to mitigate those stuns and a lot of harass to trade with him.
Counter circles to come in as well. It also adds an extra threat here for D+. So much damage to come out. Is Alistar going to be the consideration for Moham? It's sort of on him now because, of course, picking Rel is very difficult with Alistar still up and available. Really rough to deal with that matchup just in general.
I think Alistar pick's risky, honestly. BNK FairX, you know, the level 1 of Alistar is so rough that you could take something like the Lulu if you really wanted. I think based on how BNK FairX play, they'll probably take an engage pick. But, you know, I think other teams maybe would have punished that Alistar more. And now they're looking for the Gragas.
It is just mega anti-clear. You just want to get rid of the cannon. So Headbutt going to be available. You've got now the Explosive Cask as well that's going to be available. Can be used both offensively and defensively, but I do think that it's going to have so much value as an anti-Pikachu move here for D+. Kingan's also been really good on the Gragas in the past as well, as Duro, despite the fact that the Alistar was locked in, is still considering the Rel just for the team fight.
Yeah, I think it fits them, you know, potential against, you know, other teams would have gone, hey, we can pick Lulu here, it'll be really free. It is BNK FairX committing to having those dive threats. And the Gragas, the Alistar, great at disengaging that. Feels like there's more answers now for D+ into the composition BNK FairX has. It's going to be a hard game to play Kennen when it comes to those 5v5s. Claire is really good at finding his window, but it's going to be a very small window this time. You know, those like, hand-sized sort of windows.
And I think that we're going to really test him because we have given Clear a lot of praise for his positioning, for his timing, and it's going to have to be as crisp as possible if this cannon is going to work. And I love the punishment. D+, they see the cannon come through. They have some picks available immediately. Alistar and Gragas. Two of the things that a cannon really does not want to deal with. Is this salmon swimming up a stream? They're going against the meta, against the current. They're not playing the Tristana and stuff. That's what that represents, and it's represented by fish. They are eaten often by grizzly bears. I don't think anyone on BNK is representing that right now.
We did have a player in the league last year who very much represented.
Thankfully, the G-Riz is not here in this game right now, nor does he play for either of these teams, so they are safe for the moment. But they did lose game 1. They're going to have to really knuckle down if they're going to get it done here in game number 2. BNK, they're just so coordinated. These team fights are so good. See whether they can do it in a 2-0. That would be crazy. Let's jump onto the rift. All right, fans in Lol Park tonight, really in full voice. It's great to hear the representation on both sides, and it's understandable. They are so much fun to watch.
You know what?
Let's hope that game 2 is the same.
Max, we learned something from the last game.
What did we learn?
We learned you take exhaust into Kennen.
Huh. There we go.
It's so for some of you watching, you're like, well, that's not new. But D+ learned that lesson, and they have that exhaust in pocket, ready for clear. So I think if you compare the ability Clear had to make impact in the last game, obviously 10 kills, POG, a lot more issues in this one with the exhaust and a lot of great knockaways to deal with that threat. I will say, though, Gragas, we haven't seen for a while. There was earlier this year, he got nerfed a bit. His base health went down. His mana cost went up on his Q. And then recently, his passive healing actually also got nerfed. So, you know, we tend to think of Gragas as like a brick wall who can survive a lot of laning threats, but that ability just to mitigate damage is down a little bit. So we'll see how he fares into Clay, who has gone for that airy for the consistent pressure.
Yeah, Moham does have Pulverize first. Often you do see a few headbutts just to move people around in the lane, as Duro and Moham just face off with abilities on cooldown and just look at one another. Duro currently 2-0 on the Rel right now.
Yeah, these picks all feel good for BNK FairX generally, but the Maokai not being a pick they really lent on during their successful streak. You know, a lot more about Raptor having agency, and it's not that Maokai can't do things, it's just been more of a facilitative pick for most teams.
And I'm very interested in how this Ezreal is going to go and whether this is going to work. Because right now, it's currently not, as the headbutt from Moham is going to come through, but he just whiffs the Pulverize completely. Still able to get himself out of there. A little bit worse for wear. He's going to have to roar triumphantly and stuff to get his health bar back up again, eating through all of his potions now. Yeah,
good moves from Juro there, really taking advantage of the level 2 window to punish Moham. And then being happy with a good trade. You know, sometimes you can often see players be like, no, we're going to look for the kill. We have an advantage. Overcommit, it backfires. But they're like, no, we've hard won this trade. All your pots are now gone. And any damage that comes out from here on out going to stick a lot more.
Well, Duro, in this forward brush, Moham just going to try and tell him that he should leave. As Cannon will be secured by aiming. Nicely done. It's just a face down between these two. Shattering Strike goes wide. And Pulverize is going to come on through once again. Moham going to roar triumphantly, but it's a good crash down. That is a lot of burst damage here onto Moham. Henna just fully charged up. There's the stun and first blood in the 2v2. The exhaust was just too late.
Yeah, big mistake there. I don't think Moham expected at all to go down. The damage just consistently came in. The passive shred from Juro as well, I think allowing that burst to be a bit more on the back end. But some great play from Juro, and Moham really just making a bit of a fumble there. Didn't even use the flash to get away. This is not what you want to see when you're already 1-0 down in the series.
Yeah, really beautifully played. And it just shows why Henna wanted to pick this Zeri with such high priority, as Lucid not going to spot the fact that there was a bit of a back coming through. Duro just coming over just to assist with what's going on here. So it is going to be a trade of Rift Scuttles. But let's have a look at this play one more time. Dodges the Shattering Strike, but then it's all bad news from there.
Yeah, because the Pulverize is on cooldown, Juro comes in with the crash down, and then just getting that consistent damage down, gets that stun on the back end, and I think hoping for a bit more from the exhaust there.
Yeah.
But Moham trying to save the flash, and it does backfire. Maokai on a hot win streak. Yeah, been having a lot of impact, I think it's safe to say.
Yeah, Duro also trying to have some impact here as he gets the Shattering Strike crash down, and Showmaker's going to have to flash. He does so, loses most of his health bar. He pulls Duro in underneath the turret, and he has to flash away as well.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Duro was actually slightly outside the tower when he flashed. He actually was okay to walk it off, but, you know, in those moments, just didn't want to end up going down, so flashed. But still a great gank on a Showmaker, who is now flashless. If Raptor finds an opportunity to come in, can definitely take him down. And Juro having, you know, I'm going to be honest, Claire obviously was the POG winner and a big highlight last game, but Juro had a pretty fantastic recon performance. He is continuing that trend.
Yeah, this is the guy, the self-proclaimed second coming of Carrier in the LCK. And I'm starting to believe it. I thought it was a little bit comical when I heard it the first time. I was like, bit big for your britches. However, he's had some great performances. Not quite on that level just yet, but he's moving the right direction.
Yeah, I mean, it's been really solid performances. And honestly, I think, you know, a lot of what Carrier has done for the support game in the LCK has been about his ability to take over lanes, play things like the AD carry supports. But this is feeling very Delight-esque, I would say, with his proficiency on these engage picks.
Reminds me of Marta back in Season 4. You know, the man that made support sexy. You know?
Oh, yeah.
And that's sort of the playstyle that Delight really leaned into, and what you can see Duro trying to utilize as well as he pokes his head out of the brush. That is going to mean that DK understand that they should probably not be in the area. As aiming, Arcane shifting forward, always a dangerous thing to do.
Yep. Playing with fire a little bit there, but Moham on standby and definitely taking a more defensive approach. Like, okay, my job is to stop Juro from being able to go in, and I'm happy with that. No ego here.
Nope.
Made a mistake. Don't let it happen again.
Well, it is 51-50, so aiming, keeping up in farm quite nicely. Some grubs going over to BNK here, as we can see as Lucid looking for a bit of a gank angle. There's the delivery. Kingin playing it out beautifully once again, but the Slicing Maelstrom's going to create enough distance. Barrel goes down, though, and the body slam is going to end the cannon. Decided he wanted to walk eastward, and that is not really the maneuver, as Raptor may also pay the price. Body slam is good. Bramble Smash is great as well, but it's just not enough. And that is a double kill, and I don't think any nerfs to Gragas are going to stop that from being a big problem.
Yeah, beautiful engage there from Kingin. You have to pre-flash it, it's clear, but it's so hard to do. And you don't really want to just flash every body slam that comes at you. And Raptor gets baited into the play. Lucid hitting level 6 as well. So they're able to get 2 kills, not just the 1. And, you know, bot lane was going good, but that must be a frustration point for BNK Fearex. We'll see the replay.
I believe Kingen did this last time he played this season as well.
Yeah, he goes for the flash E instead of the E flash to try and give him less chances to react. And then here, Clear tries to walk upwards to try and dodge away from the cask, but it's too late. Level 6 comes through for Lucid, and then Raptor, even with a phase rush, just can't get away.
Unfortunate. And Raptor was one of the players on the winning streak for the Maokai as well. So his more recent one was his first win on the champion this season. And so maybe not be augmenting that with another one. Still very early days, and BNK have a bit of a lead. You can see Tensei has the advantage for Closer in mid lane as well. We were talking about Showmaker not necessarily being a Corki guy. I feel like Closer is a bit of a Corki guy. Yeah,
I mean, we've seen a lead mid, Corki really strong in the laning phase, but also there was a CS lead top before those 2 kills, a kill lead bot. Raptor looking for Lucid. Oh, the slow comes in.
Yeah, gonna find the Twisted Advance. Flash out from Lucid, and now he's looking to try and turn this one around. There's the flash headbutt pole from Moham. True Shot Barrage onto Duro as well. But the Nature's Trust trying to keep the distance. It does not work. And Lucid still following after Raptor here. Closer moving down. Seismic Shove going to be avoided, but still takes a bunch of rocks to the face. And DK finding another one.
And Moham really shaking off, you know, some of the issues he had earlier in this game with a great engage there to win that 3v3. And will only be rewarded with 1 kill, but getting on aiming, definitely where you want that goal to be.
100%. We've got a Chemtech Dragon coming up once again. I want to say thank you very much for your attention. Paid Ox, no Susja in the chat. Thank you very much. Okay, guys.
It's a banger game, so hard.
Yeah.
Easy to pay attention.
Yep, no, it's certainly working out. A minute and a half on that one as far as Next Dragon is concerned, and some really nice souls up and available. Hoping that it's not another Ocean, because that would be too many today. So statistically, I think we're in for another one. Let's have a look at this one more time.
Yeah, so, you know, they initially try to get on top of Lucid, but Lucid gets this flash off just in time before he's knocked back. And then the turnaround. I think a big thing is that Duro is still level 5, so he takes so much damage here from the Ezreal ult, and obviously the turnaround on a Moham not realistic. With the fact that he has that unbreakable will.
Yeah, excellently played here by D+. 3-1 now the kill score as well, but we can see the gold. It is dead even. That's exactly what we want to see. A lot of it to do with the solo lanes and how the farm is doing. Yes, Kingen picks up that double kill, but it's not going to stop Clear from being an absolute menace when it comes to the laning phase. Range advantage over the Gragas and things like that. You can see about 200 gold in the lead despite that. Is kind of nutty, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah. I mean, it's just showing that players been having a great time top lane. Does have a plate they did secure at some point. But still, a hard game for the Kennen to really have as much impact as we saw in the previous one.
Maybe Clear is just that good, and he's going to be able to find an angle. 100%.
And I think a big thing as well is the flash. Obviously, flash super valuable in Kennen. It was last game. But into things like the Alistar, being able to flash the headbutt is the difference between you getting no impact with your ultimate and you still finding it and being able to get on top of targets. So I think it'll be important for BNK Fearex to play around that Summoner spell now. D+ looking like they're going to sneak in onto this Dragon. And with the recall coming in from Henna, I don't think there's going to be any chance of a contest right now.
Yeah, Duro also going to sacrifice half of his health bar. Doesn't take the big rock, and so therefore is going to at least be above half. Clear still waiting on this top side. They don't have information on the whereabouts of the Kennen right now, as teleport advantage is there for Kingen. And Clear does show himself, as we can see. Still going to be the Dragon secured. Utilization of teleport advantage working out pretty well, as Clear going to take a big trade disadvantage.
And the thing is, a Gragas with Rod of Age is finished. Even if you win a trade, you lose in the long term because of the sustain. But
yeah,
especially if you're losing trades, it's not going to be a fun time. I think this is the point where Kingen's going to be a lot harder to push out a lane. See Raptor move up, clear out this ward, try and secure some pressure, maybe looking towards those grubs. But D+ are also there, hoping to contest.
It is Drift as well. That's what I was going to say. This is a big one.
I think it matches how we
100%.
seen these
Yep.
been playing. If the soul comes in, it's just going to add to the one-shot potential of a lot of these champions. So definitely exciting, definitely good to see.
I think we're going to see a lot of attention to these dragons, as unfortunately Clear misses a cannon. That's okay. Having a very high-value Drake It's just going to mean that we get more of these team fights that we know both of these teams very much want to go for. This time around, D+ with a lot of answers. But BNK, I think that if anyone's going to be able to just make it work against the flow, it's this team.
Yeah, I feel like BNK Fearx, when you think about a dive comp, you're like, okay, what's good against a dive comp? Anti-dive, right?
Yeah.
And BNK are like, well, how do we be anti-dive? We just dive harder.
That's the answer. Is there's a party cask. That is a score special. If you guys have been watching replay, as I think Kingen might be dead. I think that he may not be able to get out of this one. That is a very fun usage of the blast cone, but you are still dead. That is a kill going over to Henna. 2-0-0 on the Zeri, and they're going to use these grubs to get a few extra plates as well, and translating that into money for the Zeri, who is struggling in the lane. You can see down about 10 CS. That is really good news.
Yeah, it's a smart swap coming out from BNK Fearx. They get a slight advantage because they took out Kingen, but a lot of the wave was cleared by the Gragas AoE. Oh, cheeky.
Oh, that was very cheeky.
And now we have a situation where because the wave wasn't there, BNK Fearx a little bit slower than they would have otherwise liked to clear out this wave. With Gragas TPing, oh, it might be a re-dive.
Oh god, yeah. Kingen just knows he is immediately out of there. The Nature's Grasp comes down, but that will guarantee first turret blood, or at least very, very close. Yes, it is. This one is going to go down, as Aiming was racing as fast as he could, but it does not work out. So the turret will be answered immediately, but BNK get that little bit of extra gold by being the first ones to do so.
The thing is, because they're pressured by Kingen, the gold is split. You know, a lot went over to both Raptor and Juro. That is solo gold for Aiming from those bot plates.
Is anyone surprised?
Absolutely not, but when we look at the gold that the 80 carries have actually gotten, I think Aiming will have benefited a lot more from that passage of play. So the TP looks a bit funny from Kingen with him dashing away immediately. Pays off. We can see here, not finding the ult combo on a clear, but the timing is so bad to have burnt your ult. And Kingen does take a lot of time to go down, and does even start to finish off the minions here. That cask, that barrel as well, doing a good job to thin the wave. This is not where you want to be.
No, he is somewhat behind the turret. There is a crash down, and the Chonky Man is in a bit of trouble. He's going to flash, he's going to try and body slam, but the Magnet Storm is gorgeous. It pulls him back over the wall, and Clear is going to be able to finish him off. I think almost an unforced error, but we don't necessarily know how that all began.
Yeah, looks like Kingen just caught out again, a little bit over-positioned. Aiming just doesn't like closer, apparently.
I like that wording as well, over-positioned. He is positioned to something.
Yeah, he is just a bit too much positioning.
A bit too positioned.
You need to calm down. Maybe don't position so much. Okay?
Yeah.
Maybe take a break from positioning.
Needs to calm down a little bit. It's extra positioning that can get you in trouble. I love that. Okay, bit of a tango, 2v2 in the mid lane, but now we've got a Rift Herald started up by Lucid. Just feels like BNK have that extra level of control right now.
Yeah, I mean, if you look, Kingen has no TPs coming from base. Showmaker does have TP, but he's bot. They're now TPing and they want the fight. Juro's already pretty low.
Yeah. We do have a Weaver's Wall. Haven't really seen it utilized so far just yet.
Oh, Claire, I'm not sure if they know they've seen him now.
Yeah, cease and desist immediately down onto the cannon. The seismic shove going to be layered in. They take down the Lightning Rat. They're looking to secure the Rift Herald. Closer, can he actually get on and take down the Eye? That's the question. Another seismic shove as Showmaker taking matters into his own hands. The flash forward from Lucid. He's like, yes, Captain, I will take them down on the Weaver's Wall just to clean up as Showmaker kind of stuck in amongst absolutely everything. True Shot Barrage from Aiming saying, I'm helping, and he absolutely is. That's still one picked up for Closer, who's now moving forward. Okay, little Corgi, let's see what you can get done here. The exhaust goes down. Can Closer just fight through it as Kingen says, no, you can't. And he's just going to go down.
Really good exhaust there for Moham. Didn't need it for the team fight because it kind of went down, and Closer, who's getting so much damage down there, but gets punished for it. And D+, the ones taking agency in this one, clutching out the fight. You can see the respect they have now for the Kennen, who is TPing in.
All right.
This is the Flash Cleanse, Ezreal.
If at first you don't succeed, press all your buttons, make circles, kill Ezreal. And that is exactly what they'll do. Clear will say thank you very much
and that's
for the
Dragon.
500 gold.
Yeah, no Flashing Cleanse anymore on Aiming, but with him down, that should be Dragon for BNK Fearx, which, you know, obviously losing the fight was a huge hit for BNK Fearx, but regarding Herald versus third Dragon potentially for D+, I think I know which objective I'd rather secure.
Oh yeah.
It isn't even heading over, so BNK Fearx may have lost the fight around Herald, but I think they got the better objective out of it. Oh, don't want that to get stolen. Okay, they're good. Yep. So stopping that soul point, pretty massive considering you just lost a fight before it.
It's a lost the battle, win the war type situation there, and they get a lot of money from aiming as well, who did have that 2-item spike completed, hadn't quite got the evolution yet, but that meant that they just couldn't fight, as this is what we were talking about before. And I still, yeah, it is just over-positioning, isn't it?
Yeah. Difficult chance to escape from. You can see he tries to get towards the wall and then pulled a bit away from it, waiting for the body slam cooldown, but it's so easy to body block if you're right on top of him. Here, though, this is the big one, and I'm not sure if they knew completely where Clear was, but Lucid starts to move over, and the blast cone comes through. That's when he gets spotted, and immediately it's like, we're killing him. Show me flashes for the seismic shove. Okay, he's down. Maokai also down. BNK Ferex are like, let's engage and get out, and Moham immediately says, no, you ain't leaving.
Yeah,
the
finds
seismic shove master too.
Yeah, the seismic shove then immediately follows up by Lucid with the Vault Breaker. I just want to say, like, I think Wolf mentioned it really well on the space, saying that Moham, despite the loss, still looked like a great addition to this team. And yeah, Closer was able to get one back there, and this was the extra one, as we've got a lot of replays to get through. It's replay homework here.
Yep, a lot to go through, and aiming tries. There's just not much you can do in that situation. I think it's one of those ones where, in hindsight, you'll be like, man, I should have just died, not been the sums, but you know, you're an Ezreal with Cleanse Flash.
Yeah, you feel pretty safe.
You feel like you can get out of that situation. The answer is you absolutely can't. And the thing is, you know, by the time the next dragon comes up, he will have those summoners back. We can see the goal lead is a little bit in favor of D+. They are trying to set up on this top side. Maybe if anyone steps up, they'll go for a pick. No one's showing up yet, though.
Yeah, Raptor moving on towards this mid lane. They want to try and take down this outer turret. Clear there to pick up the wave that is crashing on this inner. So
yeah, it's a Zeri, so you're going to be able to get out, but they have to leave quickly because Clear with no TP, if he's top,
oh yeah,
you have to pull away.
100%. So Clear is now just clearing waves, does have the Leandries completed. I think needs to purchase a Zhonya's Hourglass as soon as possible. You might be able to sort of stop some of this cease and desist attention that you are getting, right? Yeah. Like as soon as Lucid presses that button, you can go into stasis to deny it. That is going to be really important because I think Clear has realized that he is, you know, public enemy #1, and they have his number. They're trying to get rid of him. That's one of the ways to mitigate it. So I do like that idea.
Get your ult off and you flash into a good spot, and then Zhonya's, you can't be cast away, you can't be headbutt away. The Zhonya's are still going to be there having the impact. So definitely a high value purchase if you can pick that one up. Baron is spawning 2 minutes until Dragon. I think this is the pivotal point of the game because if you win this next Dragon fight, you're probably just going to be able to secure that Dragon off the back of it.
100%.
And that is a huge boon. That will really just set the pace of the game, I feel. Even though D+ have had the edge this time, even though they won that big skirmish, and Lucid's been fantastic, still very close in gold, still very winnable for either side.
Yeah, and it's just been a much better series. I was expecting this to be a really good series, but I don't think I was ready for this level of back and forth. So much of it, it's just tit for tat everywhere. And I'm loving it. Okay, Duro, gonna get engaged on, just immediately flashes. Flash now down on a rel.
Yeah.
Very, very important here for DK.
It's a big hit, but also respect the fact he just immediately reacted, didn't wait around and let the combo come through. Potentially the Talia follow-up, so just went, nope, I have to flash out, I don't want to die. Getting some information there, trying to... They're gonna clear out some wards, some nicely placed one. You know, if you throw the control ward in the pit, hard to clear these ones out, but D+ doing the due diligence to clear these out and make sure that they can get the area fully swept.
There is now a little bit of darkness in the pit, as they do opt in for putting the control ward outside it, just to make sure that they turn off those wards. There is definitely an avenue now for DK, especially with the outer turret still up. The Baron is not going to be as sneakable here for BNK. But with only 1,000 gold in it, like BNK really have found their way back in over and over again. Clear getting a nice little ward down to make sure that he can farm safely here on this bottom side. And Hextech Cookie actually the one that he's going to complete. So it looks like Shadow Flame's coming in instead of a Zhonya's. I kind of disagree. Because I feel like Zhonya's is so important when there is so much to get rid of you in these fights. This is going to rely so much more on his just personal positioning.
It's going to really rely on a good engage coming from the team, and we've seen the Maokai ults not be that impactful so far. The Rel without a flash as well could be a hit. You're so much more reliant on your team getting the CC down, and then you coming in with the ultimate if you go in this route. Also, you don't have a Seeker's Arm Guard right now, which you could buy otherwise, but he does have that Shadow Flame.
Yeah.
There's any good wards for him to TP behind. Maybe that one in mid, the control ward, could be an angle.
Or the ward that he just put down in the bottom side, as Raptor is the only one tagged by that True Shot Barrage. Looks like Clear is actually just going to clear the wave. And maybe BNK just give this up. Never mind, it is going to be a Nature's Grasp coming down. They try and avoid it, as now Closer throwing in some rockets. There goes the Dragon. BNK not going to overly commit onto this one. Didn't see a window in. That's not going to happen. Transformation now finally done here for Closer, as Duro running pretty quickly. Isn't going to be in too much trouble here, but inner turret could be under fire now.
Oh, this could be an angle. They're pinging the ward. Duro's on a flank, actually.
Yeah. You can see Clear is very much wanting to go for this one, aiming, taking a little bit of poke, zooming in on top of him, but D+ just not giving any angles, and Clear not pulling the trigger early, and will be able to now clear out and push out this wave.
You can see the difference in not only the composition BNK FearX has in this game to last game, but also the defensive aspect of D+'s composition, how much harder it is, how much more thought that they're having to put in BNK FearX into, is this the right engage? Is this when we want to go in? You know, the gold is still close, but they have to deliberate so much more on whether it's the right fight. And that has made the game feel a bit slower than the previous one.
Yep. No less intense, though, is what it feels like. Is nice denial there from aiming. Makes sure that the cannon does not go over to Henna.
That's why he's the gold king, you know? He's not the gold king just because he gets the gold. He also denies it, too.
It's about the deficit, but it's also about getting more than everybody else, including your teammates. 3-0-4, though, for Lucid. He is not worried about missing out on some extra gold on the map, as Clear is going to discover him. He just throws down the ulti. The Slicing Maelstrom comes in. Henna now looking to just finish it off, and there is the kill. Still aiming's able to get one back. Henna now looking for the Extendo Beam. Does not get it, as Showmaker throws down the Weave as well. That is going to mean that it is just a 1-for-1 trade.
And you know, I think D+ pretty happy with that trade. You got the Cannon's flash. You're already talking about how hard it is for them to team fight without that. That flash won't be available for the Dragon fight. Aiming loses his, but an Ezreal not as concerning. Oh, that is scary.
Yeah, Moham really wanting to capitalize on that one, as the Seismic Shove does go wide, but D+. 3 minutes on the Dragon, but the Baron is up and available, and Henna is very low.
Yeah, it does have some runes that'll help him sustain up, but I think he's making the call to recall regardless. Closes bot with no TP, but recalls are coming in from D+, so no real Baron threat at the moment.
Yeah, not looking like it. As control wards a piece in this Baron pit.
Full Morph Malmorti is completed by aiming now, so...
My god.
The threat from this cannon is just not going to be there, with no flash as well.
It is sort of... how cannon goes, right? Like, there's a cannon angle and there's a cannon angle. And in game number 1, beautiful cannon angle. You know, no exhaust picked up by the enemy team. Not a lot of displacement to worry about. This time, explosive cast, headbutt, pulverize, exhaust, everything. The whole kitchen sink can be thrown at him. Even Seismic Shove can get rid of him. It's a pretty rough one to be playing this cannon. And punishment for the blind pick, I think, is really important. And I think it was actually right for BNK to test DK, because they didn't actually do anything about the cannon in game 1. So maybe they were just going to be, once again, not worried about it and fall into the trap.
That's the thing, is not only do D+ have to win this game, but then side selection and the opportunity to adapt goes over to BNK FearX. So Cage comes in.
Yeah, Duro able to jump over the wall. Really beautifully done there, as Lucid once again finding the angle, but another flash going to be invested. And Duro does get himself out of the situation. So a lot invested. Try and take down the Rel, who does survive.
The timing's good, though. You know, it's a minute and a half until that Dragon. The ult's going to be back up. The flash won't, and they get that again.
Oh, aiming. Cleansing once again as Henna dives forward. Lucid wants to get the angle, but aiming just goes down. Henna, can you keep yourself alive? That's the question. Crashdown comes in from Duro. And Henna gets over the wall. Still Kingin is in there. Finds the Crypt Bloom explosion to take down the Zeri, and the whole bottom lane just falls apart. Still, BNK getting back onto the same page, and it's bottom lane for bottom lane here, as now it's just the top sides doing battle. Outer turret will be taken out, and B&K actually using the play and turn it into their favor.
Yep, I think they'll be happy with the tier 1 mid. 40 seconds until that dragon, though. A lot of ults burnt here that aren't going to be available. A lot of summoners as well. Henna now flashless, but some beautiful kiting in that fight to stay alive as long as he did. Aiming ends up going a bit over-aggressive on the Ezreal. You got to remember, no flash here, so it's a dangerous one to regress on, and Raptor's quick to punish.
The arcane shift forward, the classic.
Yep, and then Henna here, we actually see, I think Lucid was trying to get the dash in before the Maokai hit him, and then Mist does it. Mohan missed him with a Pulverize. A lot went wrong for D+, which makes it more surprising how even this fight was in terms of kills.
Yeah.
It really looked like that is worst case scenario for D+, so yeah, it's a 2 for 2.
The fact that Kingen was there, able to catch out Henna, who was looking to try and create space between himself and Showmaker, just meant that it was able to work out. Still, B&K going to look to try and deny this soul. But the Baron on the table for D+, and Aiming and Lucid getting through it very, very quickly. Showmaker trying to play bouncer, wants to get rid of B&K. There's a body slam. Raptor looking to find Kingen, who does flash forward, but he's going down so incredibly low. The cast does absolutely nothing. Look at these health bars from D+. They are in so much trouble. And Clear still threatening. Doesn't have flash, but the slicing Maelstrom is still there. And now they are just out-positioning D+, and they should be able to secure the Dragon if they'd like to get over there. Rift Scuttler will be taken down.
Yeah, that should be enough. They get the Rift Scuttler, they get everyone low. They know that D+ has to reset, so now they can go over the Dragon, secure that, and know the Baron will be taken in return. Good moves from B&K FairX there. A lot of patience on the play. Actually, this is a TP for the Baron? Or for a pick?
Showmaker just going to get crashed into. Slicing Maelstrom comes down, and I don't know what the thinking was. Showmaker just dies.
Not the best play we've seen, and now B&K FairX, blood is in the water, and they are hunting for D+.
Oh no, what a colossal mistake from the mid laner of D+, and now the Rockets are raining down. They may need to give up Baron as well. On top of this, the punishment could not be more severe.
And with them just baiting TP, even when he respawns, it'll take him a while to get there. D+ trying to approach over. Juro playing interruption with no walls. Big true shot barrage, but the heal comes in from Raptor. They're trying to approach and get their way in.
Yep, Duro does find the shattering strike there. It's a good body slam to look for the engage, but Closer creates the distance. Moham, he might have an unbreakable will, but he's still in the death chamber. Aiming, Arcane shifts forward again, and it's another twisted advance. Closer still looking for more of these angles. Is clear. He is going to go down, but he gets his job done, and it's a triple for the Corki. Still don't think that they've got health bars to take down the Baron. And so at least D+ saved that.
This series is delivering.
It's nuts,
so
man.
Hard. I mean, this was a big flub from Showmaker. I think he was looking for Juro, didn't know Clear was still there, and immediately gets punished for it. Tries to make the proactive play, and it backfires massively. And then here in the ensuing fight, very scrappy. We see the Baron actually knocks up Henna, so he gets bounced by Kingen. Worst case scenario. But they focus in on the Corki, and we see Closer just survives here. The Alistar is not tanky enough, even with the Unbreakable Will. He goes down and then Aiming, dashes forward, flashes out. Does manage to finish off Raptor, but is now in a vulnerable spot. The Moor saves him from Clear, but Henna is there for the cleanup, and cleanup he does.
Oh, if that extended beam had have landed, would have been a different story as well. I don't think, regardless, I don't think they could have done the Baron, so maybe enough damage actually done.
Showmaker was coming back with a wall, so I think not. It would have been some extra gold in the pocket, though. Kingen, you know, pretty massive in this game. 5-2-4 on the Gragas, with a Rabadon's now picked up. His damage is severe, and I feel like he's been kind of like the sleeper for D+, where the focus has really been on Aiming and Showmaker. He just comes in a fight and delivers huge with his combos.
And he's sort of had those whoopsies, right? Sort of dying between the outer and inner turrets there in the early stages of the game. But he's still put together so much money in this one. And 3 items is no joke for the Gragas. As Clear is in the bottom lane, teleport in hand. He's now looking to go back, but he might need to immediately channel that teleport. DK not fancying themselves a 5v5. I think maybe they could have stayed on that Baron, but never mind. Seismic shove, not going to find the cannon, as that teleport angle was dangerous.
And D+ got what they wanted. They got the TP from Ken, and they also got the Maokai ult. That's what they were looking for from that play. Big resources expended.
Yeah,
now,
position is possibly a problem, but you can see wave clear is going to be there. So not punished.
Just a successful move there. Moham
Oh.
looking for a deep flank, but he's going to get spotted on this wood. I don't think anyone's in real position to punish him. The engage looking to come in.
Yeah, Lucid, cease and desist does come on down as they look for Raptor. He's going to flash. Moham now inside the Magnet Storm as the rest of BNK just looking to disengage. They successfully do so, but the Maokai had to use the flash. And we're still not quite finding these angles to force, and the gold is still dead even between these squads. The extra dragon for D+, I think, really wearing on the minds of BNK right now.
And it feels like, obviously, getting kills would be massive, but so often before these fights for objectives, the team's like, look, we want to burn summoners, we want to see what we can get any advantage, and they are just chipping away at each other, burning these resources. Moham does just navigate out of that one. Looked a little bit precarious, but that movement speed bonus from the Warmogs will keep him safe. IE just completely closer. Huge. I mean, look at both the 80 carries for BNK FearX with IEs in pocket. They are doing absurd damage now. But that's the thing. You can only deal damage if you're still alive, and champions are dying quickly when it comes to these squishy ones in these fights.
And Clear as well, he has completed 3 items, still not a Zhonya's completed. I think the Crypt Bloom was probably a good choice, considering the more of Malmortius on aiming things like this that can mitigate a lot of that damage. But still, means that he has to be so incredibly perfect with when he starts off his Slicing Maelstrom.
Yeah, and aiming still no flash. Closer, no flash either. I think for both teams, those might be the targets you look towards when it comes to these engages. Ezreal's still hard to engage on even with it, though.
Yep, Lucid about to get his back off cooldown.
Yeah, that's a big one, absolutely. If you get that on top of Closer, not too many options. You can see, though, Clear on the bottom side of the map, looking for an angle, a potential flank.
Banana Brush control. As Raptor is in there. Lucid going to be discovered by Clear, or Lucid will discover Clear because the Nature's Grasp does come on down. Lucid's going to be the first one to die as Clear is going to be traded for it. A 4v4 now on the Rift as the health bars looking like they very much favor BNK.
And the jungler's down, so no smite for the side of D+. You can see they try and pull the dragon out, get the aggro. They know they can't win a smite fight. Raptor should have this in the bag.
He should. Let's see whether he can lock it down, and there it is. It is 3 Drakes apiece. We are going the distance when it comes to the elementals, but it is still a 1-for-1 trade, and now it is parity when it comes to dragons. The gold is dead even between these two teams. As, all right, Hex Flash charge from Moham just right in front of D+, in front of BNK. Not going to get punished for that one. But man, this could not be closer. This is absolutely nuts.
It's a regular season game, and it feels like we're getting close to playoffs. This feels like a playoffs game right now. Both teams fighting with everything to find any edge.
This could actually be one of our first round playoff matches, and I really hope it is. As BNK looking like they deserve it right now, as Clear does get caught out, but he does his job. Basically, Showmaker takes a lot of damage, and Lucid is dead.
Yeah, Showmaker takes a lot, has to flash out of there. The Crypt Bloom does heal him back up, so he can't be re-engaged on, but ultimately, Jungler down gives BNK FearX what they want. And you know, Infernal Souls don't give as much stats as they used to, but 3 of them, with this Corki, with this Zeri, it's gonna hit.
Oh yeah. And now we have a Zhonya's being built by Showmaker, at least has an arm guard in his back pocket. Only 1 stack on his ring, unfortunately. We'll see where Clear is going to go with his build. Hasn't actually changed anything very recently, as aiming with, 4.5 items is going to do about that to Henna. The True Shot Barrage has not been nerfed, as it turns out.
He does have a Vam Scepter to heal up if he can get access to the wave. Should be able to heal, but you can see he's a bit more defensive. Oh, Closer just kills all the minions. Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, it does get a cheeky burst fire there, and that is going to be enough to get him back up to within touching distance of full health. And that's going to be okay.
Moments like these, when it's so close, there's so many like engaged threats, there's so much burst, that one mistake will define this game, honestly, or one huge play in the positive. If someone oversteps, someone missteps, they will be punished. If someone finds a creative engage, that could be enough. The game is closed, but at 36 minutes, and with the tower taking potential of these teams, it would not take much for them just to close out the game if there's a big fight win in either side. It's also going to be Soul in 3 minutes. The teams are posturing around this Baron. It's D+ with a bit more control there, but BNK FearX can just keep checking with these saplings.
And the quad Fernal Soul is what BNK are looking at in 2.5 minutes, as well as Lucid once again going to get caught. The Slicing Maelstrom gets the flash out, and Clear holds on to his. Now the aim of the game is going to be wait out that cooldown, which isn't that long at this stage of the game. and then try and do it again with Lucid without a flash.
Yeah, Lucid's still so low, no Warmogs. They are moving towards the Baron. Oh, Juro.
Oh, Seismic Shove sidesteps it.
He just knows. He just has that sense about him the second time.
And this is such a young player, and 37 minutes into this game, dead even, neck and neck. The pressure could not be higher at this moment, especially because B&K are one up in this series, and we know their strength of schedule does not get better from here.
Yeah, the impact of winning this series is massive for B&K FearX. They have a series up against Quantum Free Slayer this week, which is also going to be super impactful, but a hard schedule, any win is going to have a massive payoff. Clear.
The Spidey senses are nutty.
Yeah.
But it's not going to be enough. Cease and Desist does come on through. The Seismic Shove there as well. On to Clear. He stuns Lucid though, and he gets himself out.
Yeah.
But now that's the flash on cooldown.
Lucid's going to make him pay. You banned my flash, I ban yours. Ends up being a trade, and these summoner chipaways.
Moham. Okay, Duro going to get out of there. That is a blast cone. They're going to do battle in the Baron pit. And Raptor says, I am down for that. Throws a kitty cat at him. And may actually just have to flash to get himself out of here. Yeah, he will.
You can't just stay there, buddy. They're just going to keep hitting. Yeah.
He hits the Baron out of frustration,
and we're really seeing these summoners getting chipped away off from in the lead up to this next dragon, which is going to be the big one. D+ kind of deciding, hey, look, we've just taken flash off the Maokai. He's also a bit low. Is that enough? He's got a Warmog, probably not.
Oh, this is 6 items on Henna.
Oh, he is so strong. And remember, he can go the... What's it called? There's the new item, the boots.
The Zephyr?
Zephyr, yeah. We don't see it too often, but does have the opportunity to get another one in the bag. Closer closing in on his final item. And so Summoner check, you know, Lucid and Moham, those big engages, had theirs burned. Clay and Raptor also, which means the backline carries should feel a lot more agency in this fight when you've trimmed down the threats.
Oh, this is a Hail Mary, as you can see, aiming takes so much damage. That is like one burst fire auto from Henna. He
is so strong. And you know, the Ezreal, the 10% nerf, early in the game, it's not that big of a deal, but later on, you're really feeling 10% less when you have 300, 350, 400 AD.
Oh, DK. Where are they going to put their attention? It looks like maybe they're going to give up a soul to try and get Baron.
I don't think that's weird.
I don't think so either. I think Infernal Soul is so incredibly important. They're just going to try and keep B&K here, but you can see Clear. He can just stand on this one. It's going to spawn right now as Duro was looking for an angle. He decides not to. The team just says, no, back away. We're going to try and do this fight right. We're going to do it on the Drake as they start this one off. Henna within auto range, and that's going to mean that this goes down extremely quickly. DK just holding, but they're just going to go. And now Duro looking for position. There is the Nature's Grasp. DK, can Kingen find the angle? That's the question. But do B&K even care? Are they just going to back away?
They got what they wanted. They don't need a fight, but they see an angle. They'll absolutely take it. This team is ruthless, and D+,
they look paralyzed.
They couldn't find an angle in. They couldn't find a way to approach. And the Soul, especially, I feel like the Corki more than anyone. Those rockets, we're starting to see them really chunk out. The big ones. Ow. There you see the burst damage comes through. Showmaker getting chunked out by that. And it's just, when the game is so close, the gold is 200 apart. A permanent buff is so valuable.
Well, there's that ward in the back of the pit, so B&K using that vision that they do have on the Baron to get themselves a little respite. Go for that reset. Refill on a few extra items. Needlessly large rod done for Clear. Means that he must have been just away from being able to purchase the Seeker's Arm Guard.
You know, I love how we're talking about the Zhonya's buy. Like, you know, maybe you get in, you get the ult, you do, you know, you mitigate the buy. He's like, I want to do more damage.
Yeah, he just does not care about it at all, I guess. Maybe he realizes that Lucid has to stay in there with him if he presses R on him, so he just wants to do as much damage while he's coming in as possible.
He's not about surviving. He's just about taking Lucid with
How
him.
can I make sure I will land a Q? Well, that's a way to do it. If the Vi is heading towards you, she has no option but to do so. As now Henna, dashes out of the way! That could have been game losing. That moment, they're going to try and turn it around though as the Nature's Grasp comes in. Duro, can he get a Magnustorm as Raptor is so far forward, but Clear gets an angle headbutted, exhausted. He is out of there, but now Closer is in position. Kingen eats everything, and it's only Moham that's gone down so far. 3 members of B&K, all of them with the Infernal Soul, but they lose 2.
And you see the ones going in, Clear and Raptor, no flashes to assist with their engage, and they just get decimated by D+. find a much harder time making their way in without the summoners, and now D+ looking towards the Baron. 4 members against 3, but those super strong AD carries still up and available. You can see Closer, low on mana, going towards the blue, and it looks like they're just going to give this one up. The Soul went over to BNK FearX, but the Baron will be D+'s.
There is always a counterpunch in this series. And Henna, this was just gorgeous.
Can't fault King for going for it. It looked like a great angle, but Henna just reacted fast. And then here, Raptor loses so much health trying to go in. The black and the wall down. And the bruises, the knock away from Moham with the exhaust. The value's massive.
And Henna, he just delayed. True Shot Barrage lands onto both carries in that moment. But Henna, you saw him on that weave as well. It was like, oh, do I flash, do I flash, do I flash? And then he did, but it was too late. Wasn't actually able to get ult value, wasn't able to do so while the rest of his teammates were alive.
And now, this Zeri may not have the flash available for that Elder Dragon. Oh
man. Okay, Moham, we're going to try and sweep this one out, but this ward is still there.
Yeah, it's a sneaky one. We'll spot aiming and Lucid there.
They do take it down. That would have been a huge one.
But this one,
they are very well prepared with possible flank ward options.
I mean, this is BNK FearX to a T, and now Kennen with flash and TP is such a threat right now. If D+ find an angle, it's going to be on the back of Clear, and D+, they push up, they think they have the backs covered. I will say, those wards are so far away, perhaps too far away at this point.
There are a few extra ones as well hanging around here. Let's see. It is just going to be Clear making his way out. He can still just get out of the base gate. I mean, right now, they are right at their doorstep, as it's not going to be an inhibitor turret going down right now. Inna's still looking pretty low.
Kennen has short legs, so if you have to run all the way over where those wards are, it's going to take a hot minute. Nearly got that Rabadons, though. Would be a pretty big spike for the Kennen as well.
We've got 6 items on basically everyone. Clear has said, Zhonya's be damned. I am building a cool hat, and I do not care. That is why, ladies and gentlemen, there was not an arm guard in his inventory, because that's just not what he wants to purchase.
Seen Shiv sold by Henna for the GA. Still hasn't got the Zephyr picked up. Probably, well, if he remembers it, we'll go in next.
Yep.
But the GA definitely super high value when it comes to these tight fights. And you can see it's a sign of the end times. Raptor picking up the pot of iron. He knows that the next fight is going to be the one to decide the game. Gold, a little bit in favor of D+ on the back of that Baron power play, but at this point, it's starting to feel redundant.
Yeah, it's whoever gets this Elder is going to win this game, and I would have it no other way.
And I think for both teams, but Lucid's been pretty clutch at these smite fights. Don't make it a flip. Don't let the Elder get low. Go for the 5v5 win and just look to outperform. I feel like that's been the talking point of this series so far. Both teams saying, hey, we can do it better, and then trying to hand-stiff each other when it comes to the fights.
And I think that BNK just need to make sure that they keep it coordinated, because if you put too many things on the table for D+ to deal with, that is when you're going to maybe slip a Slicing Maelstrom into the right position and not have the cooldowns to deal with it, as Raptor truly believing is, okay, Henna trying to dash his way up. There's a cease and desist. He does have a GA, remember, but the Kennen does not. He just evaporates. There's nothing he can do, and then the explosion comes down. Closer is still extremely scary. Gets out of the way of the explosive cask, is now Duro pulling the wave as best he can. But DK, this is 15 seconds before the Elder spawns.
They don't have a jungler. Raptor is up, so it might be risky to go for the Elder, and instead they opt to go for the push, trying to make things happen, trying to get some towers down mid. Duro's on this flank angle. About 35 seconds for those respawns to come in. The base is going to take some hits here. I don't think they can end. The Corki's got enough poke to clear out the wave, but damage is being done to the structures.
Yeah.
Closer needs one combo to clear out these minions.
Another arcane shift forward, and this time it's Kingin who will destroy Closer. There goes the damage. Raptor will be taken down as well. And Duro, he's going to hold on to this minion wave for dear life, ladies and gentlemen. Will he be able to buy enough time? The answer is yes for Clear to respawn. Henna will be up as well, but what can they do?
Yeah, it's going to be hard. It might be enough. Clear needs to get a big ult immediately if he's going to keep his Nexus towers alive.
Yeah, there's the Ember Pulverized from Moham, though. There it is! He flashes in! Clear will find! Showmaker and aiming goes down as well. Henna with a triple kill! And D+, they may have overextended. The Ignite from Duro, he's going to mount back up again and look to take down Kingin. But now, Showmaker aiming, Moham, all of them dead for 40+ seconds, and Clear will find Kingin on the back end, and he's still going to go down. Still, Lucid goes forward, takes down the cannon, but they've lost 4. It is only Lucid that's up.
The clutch factor, though, from Kingen, these ult cooldowns so short, the value getting, but now it's FearX who are looking to do damage to the enemy base. 30 seconds on spawn timer. Can Lucid even do enough? Closer and Raptor can head towards the Elder. They can definitely get the inhibitor and get out. I don't think they can end. They're not going to make the same mistake that D+ did.
I think it's just go straight to the Elder and do your very best to make sure that Lucid does not get in there, because they have so much damage. They can blow up this big dragon in seconds.
And Lucid has no flash as well. It'll be harder for him to get in. There is a TP available, though, for Showmaker. There's no wave in mid. They made sure of that.
Oh, this is down.
Baron.
Lucid nowhere to be seen. That is going to be the Elder falling. And BNK one step closer to a 2-0. We're going to see how it all started.
The power of the buy, just being able to look at the Zeri at any point of the game and say, you're dying. Clay does his best to try and save his AD carry, but it's not enough. Closer does take out the jungler return, which might have saved the game. And Kingen, he ults there, right? That's one. Gets a second ult here to take out the Corki. But then this ensuing fight, the wave save from Duro, game saving.
Yeah.
Being honest.
I'm going to say this will go down as like the Duro Marin moment, you know?
Yeah.
Holding onto that minion wave to try and save the game.
And then here, the ult comes in a little bit late from Claire, but aiming flashed in for the execute and pays for it heavily. But then in the disengage, Kingen ends up getting another ult. Comes back up that he uses to take out Claire. We're not going to see that though.
Oh, it's Exodia. This is a very, very hot Exodia as well. The Quadfernal, Infernal Soul, Elder, and Baron. And Lucid's in the bottom lane trying to make sure that these waves are not in good positions, as this is obviously going to be the longest game of the season. The last one was Kwangdong Freaks against D+, and D+ lost.
It's always D+.
Oh, this is so heartbreaking if it happens again, and B&K are in such a good position to win it.
This is such a hard game. If B&K FearX would lose from here, it'd be so hard to recover from, but they have all the tools they need. They have the late game carries, they have the triple buffs. D+ need a miracle from here to get themselves back in this series. They're doing a pretty good job of wave clearing. A bot tower dies to the wave, but B&K FearX don't care. They're looking for the engage.
Yep, they're looking to try and win this one right now. The Nature's Grasp, it comes in. They all line up behind Moham, and they need to avoid a fight because the Elder Dragon is so incredibly powerful. It's up for another 35 seconds, and B&K know that this is just about trying to do their best to take down structures.
This is a super wave they have to work with and try and get the Nexus towers down. The Elder's tying
Oh, Closer! He needs to be so incredibly careful. He doesn't have a GA. As now, Hannah going to get cease and desisted, thrown back and destroyed aiming. He's going to be able to lock him down, lose it. He's probably going to die to the Elder. They take 2 of them. Showmaker dead as well. And Raptor, so dangerous. The GA's going to pop, but the Dragon's Wrath comes down again. Oh, and Kingen. Closer down to the GA now. Kingen, he goes golden aiming. He's up once more, and they take down the Corki. They're holding on. They'll save the base.
And Kingen has TP. Look at the ball wave. They can end.
Oh my God, he's going to do it. This is absolute cinema. This is ludicrous. And we'll have another game in the series.
They find the miracle against the triple buff. They managed to clean up. Aiming and Kingen clutch it out, and they managed to keep the series alive.
Oh my God, you can see it in Moham's face. He's like, guys, is this what you deal with every day? I never want, my heart's about to explode, but they're still gonna win the game, and they have to do this again.
D+ are no stranger to long games, but this one, they managed to clutch it out in the end. Pivotal moments. They knew they had to fight against the Elder. They had to fight against the Infernal Soul, the Baron, and they find the angle. B&K FearX.
Look at the D+ fans. They are completely incredulous. I think all of us are feeling the same way, and I was reading out the eulogy for this team. And then from the ashes, they'll just come through with a big fat man and take down the enemy Nexus.
Not yet. Not yet. And we still have another game. This is one way to make you return to the LCK with a game like this. And the thing is, B&K FearX had so many pivotal clutch moments that came through. Duro saving the game. And it still wasn't enough. And now players have to reset. Going at game 3 after an absolute slugfest. Aiming, as you'll know, surprises, does that again. But for me, Kingen, so many pivotal ults in that one. After some little mishaps in lane, really came through big.
He like woke up. The world's like victorious Kingin woke up halfway through that game and he's like, nah man, we win these. And he finds the angles. This guy is so clutch. We are going to go to a short break. We're going to do our very best to try and recuperate after that one. Then it's going to be the space, and we'll have the deciding game between these two teams. My God.
먼저 갈래 그냥?
아,
야 코르키 보자 보자. 아 별로야?
별로. 야, 제리.
야 제리 잡았다. 야 이기면 돼. 코르키 맞게. 야 나이스. 아나 죽었다. 코르키 나 2초. 야 아래 거 맞아. 아래.
천천히. 나 본다.
코르키 맞아야 돼. 코르키.
야, 코르키.
나이스. 천천히.
야, 코르키 보자. 형, 코르키.
잡아야 돼. 코르키 잡아야 돼.
코르키 잡아야 돼, 호은이 형.
코르키. 잡았어. 야
바텀.
아 이거. 바텀.
뛰어.
나이스. 나안 가도 되지. 끝났어. 내 가게 해야겠다.
아, 혹시 모르니까 일단 가.
나 일단 막을게.
막자.
이긴 것 같아. 끝내줘. 제발.
진짜 힘들다.
힘들어. 야 너무 힘들네.
와. 죽었어.
야 근데 이거 3세트 하자. 3세트. 좋은
결국 이기긴 해, 우리가.
성공이야.
과연 해보자.
Time this series and with all the benefits it bestows.
Let's see how they're going to do here. As you can see, Showmaker, he's the man that always wants to go home as early as possible, and he was just a part of the longest game, and that was a game number 2. And so he's going to be here for the distance. Just have to see how it does go. Aurora and the LeBlanc both banned away. No ability to ban the 80 carries this time around on the blue side for DK. They're going to be taking away Vi first here. Vi in both games so far this series.
Yeah, the Vi has been massive, and I think Vi as a pick in general has been massive in the LCK. But these two junglers, I feel like, have really pushed it and what can be done with the champion, especially with how fight-focused they've been. The Renekton comes through as a ban again, not wanting to give that over to Clear. But this is kind of the benefit of being on blue side. So much more freedom to ban. And now Ezreal will get the ban here. Ashe is still open. It is interesting the Aurora ban's been kept. Obviously, the champ's very strong, but we did feel like it felt like a Showmaker champion, and BNK FairX have agreed with that assessment. Rumble ban going to come through. So pretty similar bans to what we saw last game from D+, except they swapped the Kalista for the Vi. Is the Kalista first pick? The Ashe is open. Is that a first pick? It looks like BNK FairX are happy with that one. And Ashe is good into Kalista, but Aiming has had a mean Kalista recently in the LCK.
Henna has,
if they will pick it up.
Henna has really liked archery champions in general for a really long time, but this also gives them more engage. And I feel like the more engage BNK has as a team, the better they are.
Yeah, I think ultimately BNK FairX often have like 3 or 4 sources of engage. With an 80 carry getting it as well, maybe you bump it up to 5.
Yeah, I think we should probably bump it up to 5. We'll see what we can do there as Lucid, considering the tree in this game, will lock that one in.
Interesting they go for the Maokai, because that means that Ashe Sejuani on the cards for BNK FairX here.
Oh, true.
Yeah, as a prospect, a lot of power there.
A little bit of a dangerous one. We'll see what the answer is going to be for D+.
The Corki wasn't a huge selling point for us when Showmaker played it, but paired with the Maokai, it is often a combination. I mean, even they went it.
Yeah.
Sorry, it was the Sejuani Corki they went in the first game. But yeah, going to go for the Maokai Corki, which, in terms of the picks you want to see, Showmaker and Lucid on, they're not up there. When we saw Lucid debut in the LCK, the Maokai, he was obviously starved for gold, but didn't work fantastically.
Sejuani Yasuo.
Sejuani Yasuo works, Sejuani Yone works. Definitely
Pick a Wind Brother
combo.
and find Bristle. That's what I'd like. The Leona going to come in for Duro. That is a very high priority on making sure that they lock in their bottom lane as best they can. Nah, the consideration now for clear as well.
Yeah, no luck towards the Sejuani, which is interesting. Often see it paired with the Ashe, but they won't go for that. And now looking at the Gnar, and the question is, what will Kingen match into this? I think the gambit here they're going for is you can either match the support or you can match the Gnar. You can't match both. And instead, D+ going to go for the potential
match the something else. Oh,
what
God.
Are they matching?
Wait. Okay, no, it's not.
Okay, they're matching the Gnar. Just some hovers. The GP and the Gnar, obviously a really solid matchup. We saw Kingen hover this earlier in the series as well into the Kennen.
He's been a great GP in the past as well. We'll lock it in.
So clear. Ending up getting counterpicked there. This does mean, however, that things like the Braum can't be played into the Leona. We have to see that one be popular. I think Braum Alistair as bans of BNK Fearx would be phenomenal value here. On the other side, though, you can start to look towards the jungle. That Sejuani that we talked about earlier can be taken away. You could also look to target, things like the Yone or the Yasuo from the mid lane. They will start off that Yasuo. We've seen a lot of people picking it into Corki. The wind wall value, pretty insane, and also incredibly good against the Maokai, just slamming the wind wall down. No one has to get rooted by the ultimate.
Yep. I think maybe it's just both Wind Brothers that you just get rid of. You risk the Sejuani situation, because otherwise I imagine that Closer just plays something else AD and you put Raptor on some sort of AP carry, like a Lilia, like a Brand, like a Zyra, something like this, to come out of the jungle. That could be one of the options that they could utilize. Jhin going to be banned away, as there is still Kalista. There is a lot of champions. Kai'Sa, a big one standing out.
Zeri as well, still one that could be picked up here. So a lot of options.
More like some options that I guess BNK don't want to deal with. Yep, Wind Brothers going to be removed.
Actually going to go for the Ziggs ban. Not something we really see aiming play that much. And this means the Braum's still open and available if D+ want to lean into it. As you said, Mohan be playing a lot. Will open up looking towards that Kalista, though. And Aiming has had pretty strong performances on this pick in the last year, honestly. Is a rough matchup into the Ashe, though, but you have support counterpick that you can lean on.
I do think that self-counterpick is not a great move.
Oh,
as that may not be better.
Yeah, one of the issues with Misfortune into Leona is if you ever try an ult, you're just a Solar Flare away from having to cancel. You can cleanse Solar Flare, but your ult still cancels.
Do you think Ashe has anything she can do about it as well?
Does Ashe have something she can do about MF? I'll get back to you on that one. So, going to be hard to get good ult value, I feel like, for here from Aiming, but a lot of AoE looking towards options. Oh, going to get the Talia?
Wait, is Raptor going to do it? The deciding game, he pulls out his Lee Sin that looked incredibly good in one of their more recent series. That would be pretty hype.
Pretty big. Pick that against Lucid as well. We'll lock it in. And looking at Moham, looks like they want more engaged to layer with their AoE. Might not even go towards the Braum, and looking instead at the Rel. Alistair also an option. Going to try and deny the Leona. They will go for that Rel here. So a lot of AoE damage when it comes to these teamfights. Good setup, a pretty straightforward front to back, I feel like, for D+. BNK Fearx, I feel like their composition feels a bit out of theme from what we've seen so far this series. They have abilities to start the fight, but picks like the Lee Sin, much more about popping off in the early game. I feel like if you go to a 47-minute game or however long it was, the Lee Sin's not going to feel as good. So Raptor and Closer, I need to see them challenge Lucid and Showmaker. This is not Lucid and Showmaker picking a strong combo. This is not a dynamic duo you see them paired up on. This is Lucid and Showmaker scaling for team fights, and Closer and Raptor need to stop that from happening.
Yeah, I think that BNK have looked very good in the early games. We remember, you have to think back a very long way to get to the early games of the second series, the second game, but it did go in favor of BNK. If they can snowball, this will look a whole lot better. But like you say, the late game insurance policy that D+ have taken out is an expensive one, and I think it's all inclusive.
Yeah, any mistakes will really cost BNK Fearx here. you end up losing a 2v2 on the top side against the Gangplank Maokai, the game is going to be in a horrific spot. So
I think someone's missing their train, by the way. But I think that is perhaps the case for most of us.
it's worth it.
Absolutely. This is probably the best season, series of the season so far. I already nominated Game 2 of this one for Best Game of the Year, and I don't think anything's going to come close. That was just ludicrous. D+, though, I do like what they're doing with the composition. I don't like Closer on Maokai, but it's a lot of tools to get things done. Top of the Rift, game number 3.
수환사의 협곡에 오신 것을 환영합니다.
Oh man, everyone's so loud. Still.
You don't like Closer on Maokai, and I agree, Maokai mid would be weird.
Oh, did I say Closer on Maokai?
Yeah.
Wow.
I think everyone
on Maokai.
meant Lucid, but if you don't, I respect that don't like Closer on Maokai. I don't think
I do appreciate the clarification, though, because that could have been extraordinarily confusing.
Yeah.
If Closer was playing Maokai, that would be very strange.
It would be some good setup for the Lee Sin, though, so there's
Yeah, not
that to
bad.
take into account.
It could, like, if they were playing in Earth, it could have been a thing. All right, Duro already starting things off. Doesn't have a lot of buttons.
That's a one trade.
Yeah, nailed it.
And then
We're going back now. As Lucid
sending a
walks over
message.
Vision.
I feel like now they're kind of like, wait, is there going to be a swap? Is that going to happen? And D+ are positioning for it. They've actually swapped after what they've seen. I
Interesting.
don't think they know that the swap back has come through.
And it was pretty immediate as well. Is Lucid going to come on over, start on the enemy Raptors?
They know. They can find him.
Yeah, Raptor going to move in. And Lucid going to realize that he's probably not going to be able to get too much done. Does get the babies. Little popcorn chickens. But now going to go for a bit of a smite fight as the Zenith Blade goes wide. Dura's still just going to walk up and say, no, Lucid, you're not going to take the rest of this camp. And that will belong to Raptor, of course. Dueling power going to be there for him.
Yeah, the big one with so much more. I feel like this swap, having the GP and the Gnar away from each other, is good for BNK4X.
Yeah, I think it kind of works, especially with the fact that Henna can... Oh, there's a seismic shove. That is beautiful. Duro, he is a man about town. He is absolutely everywhere. They're not going to get a flash, but they are going to get Showmaker out of the lane and create a little bit of distance between Closer and himself as far as that CS is concerned.
Yeah, and Henna actually freezing the wave here, so trying to deny as much experience as possible. Rather than typically we see the push into plate taken.
Yep.
And actually they're going to send the GP mid and the Corki bot. So we're seeing a lot of rapid fire adjustments in this game to try and deal with the problem that's been presented to you.
And Corki now on a 5-loss streak, actually. As we can see here, a couple of them, courtesy of BDD earlier on. Not a lot of winning names here.
Yeah, one of them from Showmaker just earlier. Looks like GP not having fun in this matchup either.
Yeah, I don't know whether this part of the experiment's necessarily working out, as the flash has to be blown pretty quickly in the matchup.
Showmaker's just so scared to step up against this Ashe. Assist pinging right now, like, I need help, I can't do this. They don't know where Juro is. This is just so many mind games when it comes... We've seen a lot of swaps in the LCK since MSI. This one feels like the most elaborate. A game of cat and mouse in where people are going to be. And I feel like BNK4X have the edge in how it's panned out, but a lot of decisions made.
Oh, he just barely messed it up. It was going to be so beautiful. I feel like Clear navigated that farming just perfectly. But not to be the case. Still, it's absolutely fine. Level 3 is picked up for both of these top laners as Kingen finally with a minion wave somewhat close to the turret.
Juro's still not going bot. He needs some XP from somewhere. Because he's still level 1.
Yeah.
But, mid lane, we're seeing a bit of a lead for Closer. Getting a lot of pressure there. It feels like the XP edge is slightly in favor of BNK4X, but it's only that Leona who's behind. Now gets the level 2, though.
Nailed it. That's a whole extra button.
Yep. And we'll see now normal lanes have come out after all that dipping, diving, and ducking around. But you can see the farm differences. Mid and top has suffered the most on the back of this.
Yep. Showmaker does make his way back as this wave is coming in, so we might at least be able to equalize somewhat. I don't think fully. Seismic Shove's continuing to come through, and I think that we've offered Closer a lot of praise throughout the season. I think his Talia has been one that we've been pretty high on for a really long time. for the amount of improvement that he has been able to pick up, because it's a lot of these mages that he has struggled with, right? Like his Yones, things like this, like his Aurelia from back in the day. Like these sort of picks that are a lot more explosive have been things that he's been known for, but this Taliyah has improved so much as we see it. Get a whole bunch of work done here onto Showmaker in mid.
I think I remember in that last series, he did a Q flash. So he's on worked ground, he Q'd to get the empowered boulder, flashed.
To deliver an extra big boulder.
To get the slow setup for a gank. It was really nicely played. Just shows, you know, beyond just I can play this champ to I really know the limits of what this champion can do. And already he's had such a strong performance in the lane. Forced Showmaker out of lane again. And now looking for a run up towards topside. This Taliyah pick really paying off so far. And, you know, we said that BNK FairX needed to come in strong in the early game. They are so far delivering.
Yep. Bottom lane, pretty even, as we can see. Closer actually canceling the back. Doesn't have level 6. We'll see whether he needs it. As the wallop, max range is going to connect the flash forward to get the cripple. Seismic shove doesn't land, but because he dodged it, he's dead. That is first blood going to Raptor on the Lee Sin.
A lot committed to make that work, but it does pay off. They managed to get King in. He is flashless, and they get the payoff there. 2 summoners being from. We'll see if they end up paying in return. Obviously,
Hex Flash. I love Duro. I think Duro is my favorite support because he utilizes Hex Flash more than anyone I have ever seen.
Yeah, he's unleashed when his flash is down. Tries to bin as soon as possible, makes a way. But now we see Lucid coming down.
He might actually put pressure on this, as perhaps it's a cast a curse, perhaps it's not. As he's going in, they're looking for Moham. Can Duro actually get it? He does! They go 1 for 1.
And because they had to deal with Duro, they're not able to chase down Henna. Henna ends up getting away on that play, doesn't even burn flash. Duro's flash back up as well. The kill does go over to aiming instead of Moham, so it's an advantage in that. The gold is on a better target for D+, but considering Lucid went for that gank and it's a 1 for 1, BNK FairX are happy.
Well, and the arrow is also going to get the cleanse out of aiming here. Cross shot.
Yeah,
not
Henna
going to be enough to get any kills, but still trading it.
Yeah, Henna definitely wary of Lucid at that point, so doesn't overstep. But now Lucid wary of BNK FairX, so he backs away, and it feels like a cycle of pressure now.
It really, it's such a chess match, this one. Like, every decision made everywhere seems to have an answer that's immediately apparent on every single side. So
it feels like a chess match, but when you take a piece, you launch at the other person's head.
Oh, yeah. It's a chess match played with bats.
Yeah.
I think. You just hit one another, and that's making moves.
Checkmate! And
yeah.
Hit them over the head. It's beautiful, honestly.
Yeah.
This is how League of Legends should be.
100%. That's how chess should be, let's be honest. I'd be keen to watch that. All right. D+, just clearing out their jungle. There's a lot of pesky wards around here, as maybe another dragon scenario to come in, as Raptor is going to pull it out of the pit.
BNK FairX already got the 3 grubs. If they get 3 grubs and a dragon in the first 8 minutes of the game, that'd be a huge reward. Claire also getting some alone time, making work with those grubs. And you can see across the map, pressure in favor of BNK FairX. It's looking good for them, but this is how it should be. You need the game to continue in this direction, or things will end up being problematic. We won't get another Ocean Soul today. Ocean Dragon going to come up second.
Ooh, very short Valkyrie, but enough to make sure that Showmaker is okay. Closer, off the back a fair bit of damage. One of the nice things about being Taliyah into Corki is the fact that you can just set up your threaded volley when he tries to walk at you with Gatling gun.
Yeah, a very good response to that. That's why we've seen this pick be very popular. Obviously, even at MSI, we saw the Taliyah into old Corki be hugely successful. Not quite the same threat as it was then, but obviously Corki then was a massive menace in the late game.
Yeah.
And didn't even need to come close to you, which was pretty impressive.
A little bit of a different beast, that's true. As Clear preparing the Mega Gnar as the short hop does come in. It's crashed down onto Duro. He's in a bit of trouble here. The bullet time is going to be outranged by the Leona, but she's going to have to get out of here as Duro once again unleashed. The flash now on cooldown. He wanted an excuse to do that, I'm sure of it. Yeah,
this can sometimes be the issue playing into MF in Pro, specifically because the supports end up so XP starved, you're level 6 so much later than the enemy AD carry. If Duro's level 6, that same play just doesn't work nearly as well. He can just ult to block the MF ult. He's 3 levels down compared to aiming, so a long way to go before he's going to have access to that. And now Closer and Raptor might have found something here.
Yeah, Lucid is going to be able to take this one down. Good sidestep there from Lucid. Gives them the thumbs up as well. That is a lot of pizzazz in a game 3 that's this close.
Looked so close to that cute hitting from Raptor, but just can't quite find the connection on Lucid. He'll get the Skull Crab and get away. And any win like that, any situation where you're able to get some resources, disengage without engaging in the 2v2, D+ are more than happy with. Now, they've gone for the swap here. But it looks like it's going to be responded to. Henna already moving up towards the top side, and Duro was there already, because why not?
Yeah, he just wants to be roaming as much as he possibly can. Eclipse now going to be completed first item for Raptor. I like that, a lot of extra shielding. As that is just going to be an interruption on Clear's back.
Yeah, he's got TP as well, so this could be like a couple of plates going down a Kingen.
Yeah. He's not going to be able to get back towards that bottom side. You can see it's might need to be closer. Weaver's walling his way down there if they don't want to lose anything. Instead, just the wave crash, and Kingen will back away. So not going to be able to get any plate gold or anything like that by the looks of things. Duro is very low on XP, halfway from level 6. We can see Moham with that Magnet Storm up and available for this grub fight.
That's so big, especially closer. No TP available now, and he's gone towards bot, so I'm not sure how much they can do about these grubs. This could be very risky for BNK Fearex. Any mistake would set them back massively. Yeah,
this is a 3v3 for now, but you can see the rest of the cavalry coming in. That Zenith Blade was dangerous, but they're still looking for Lucid. He gets the shield, and the bullet time's gigantic! There goes everyone on the side of BNK, and Henna has to flash to get himself out of it. A disaster for BNK Fearex.
They opted into the fight without their Talia there, without the ultimate from Leona, and they paid for it massively. The bullet time value is humongous, and no one was in a position to interrupt it. D+ get exactly what they wanted. The locket value as well from Lucid keeps him alive that much longer. The early item spike coming in clutch.
Yeah, a little bit of inexperience maybe for Duro. Bites off way more than he could chew there.
Definitely a lack of experience, I think, is why he didn't have the ultimate.
Yes, true. I didn't realize I was doing double duty on that one.
Yeah, he does have it now, but a bit later than you'd hope for. It's gold lead now for D+. And we see the replay. The engage comes in with the intent to burst out Lucid, but Maokai notoriously slippery. And also the locket that comes through keeps him alive just a little bit longer to catch Raptor at the end of the bullet time. The value there for aiming massive.
The goal to be like, I am about to die, locket to keep himself alive, and then twisted advance in to make sure that you get the kill, even if you're definitely going to die.
Dead man's grasp, you know, just takes them with him.
Oh, it's so good. Because I think a lot of us would have the instinct to try and get the heck out of there and not die. Not Lucid. He's like, no, I want to win the fight.
And now aiming 2-0-2 on the back of that fight. Huge amount of gold going to him. This MF really already going to start looking strong.
Oh, Solar Flare now immediately on cooldown. Moham, that's a high value crash down as he gets out. And aiming moving on over with that Bloodthirster put together. 6 left on the cull. My God, this guy.
I think both supports have shown that when they're walking from one place to another, they are like right next to the screen, like, you know, like FPS players do?
Yep.
And they're just watching. They never look anywhere but the champ. They're just waiting for anything to come out of a crush. Because they have both reacted so quickly to these pick attempts.
And yeah, you kind of have to do that because, of course, getting vision down is extremely important, but it can be extremely dangerous. As Henna might learn that because he doesn't have flash available. He is going to cleanse to get himself out of the way. But that is another very long cooldown. And he doesn't have a lot of mobility.
Should be a pretty easy dive set up onto Kingen, honestly. Does have the ult.
Not a large amount of Narbar, but Kingen not quite able to get these barrels to work out. It's a disaster, in fact, as he's thrown onto the rocks, strewn onto the shore, and will be taken down. That is clear, locking up that kill as the arrow not going to connect onto Showmaker. Good angle on the Valkyrie, so holds onto his flash. BNK, they do get something on the top side, but the trade is a little bit imbalanced, as you can see. Aiming gets through all of these plates. The Gold King is just tearing money from the Rift.
He is so fed right now. Clear getting a lot of gold, but again, you're playing into a GP, he prints gold. That's kind of what the champion does, so he is going to scale still well into the later stage of the game. And you can see both solo laners D+ approaching those Triforces. That'll be a big spike. I think, honestly, aiming, it won't be long till he has 2 items in this situation. And here, there's not much you can do. Obviously, didn't get as much value from the barrels as you'd hope. It was cancelled by Clear. But I don't think you make it out of here. Once Raptor is up close to you without aggro, it can just kick you. You know, they didn't need the kick, but it was there, ready. And yeah, aiming just finished Essence Reaver. The amount of AD this MF has is going to be absurd. The one caveat is that we've talked about how it's going to be difficult for aiming to ult in a lot of these later fights. And I think BNK FairX, you need to keep tabs on that. Aiming cannot be allowed to just free cast his ultimate, or you will just lose the fight and the game.
And he has been able to get off quite a few in the right positions. I think that BNK need to be a lot more patient with a lot of these plays, these setups. Wait for that bullet time and then go for the punish. Try and hold on to a cooldown or two in order to get that one working. So far, it's been a little bit fast and loose. And we know we love them for that. But it might not be the avenue to victory here, despite the fact that they do need to put on extra pressure based on the compositions that we do see. Maybe stuck in a bit of a tough position. 2,000 gold the lead for D+ here as they're looking for Shelly.
There's a TP flank.
That's a long flank. Going to take a while to get this Talia in here, unless that Weaver's wall is going to be able to be a swift delivery. There's the wall down now as Clear, not with much of an armbar, but he's building it. Moham trying to get out of there. Raptor doing his very best. Well, he connects onto aiming, and he's just executed. Moham not going to be able to do anything to save the rest of his teammates as Showmaker goes down as well. And Lucid just running for the hills. Closer comes on over, and that is just a wipe for BNK.
Hallmark of BNK is these TP flanks. They love to pull off. They don't give an opportunity for aiming to ult. I think he channeled it for like 0.05 seconds there. Immediately shut down by the flank angle, and BNK FairX, just when the game feels like it was slipping away from them, they find this angle. The wall comes in with the Gnar, aiming. Ult immediately has to flash, but is still caught by Jiro. The Ash arrow connects. He doesn't get to play the game. Clear, unfortunately, doesn't have enough Gnar rage stacked up to ult there. Otherwise, he could have actually survived, but Showmaker goes down with him, and BNK FairX showing that they are never out of a game.
Yeah, the commitment to the play as well. I mean, I think Clear knew that it wasn't the right time to be looking for a flank, but knew that if he was there, then it would create enough hustle and bustle to make sure that they were able to get it done. So beautifully worked out here, and the fact that Talia can be utilized like this, like, because it was such a deep teleport. And I was thinking, like, if that's Clear, then this Herald fight is going to be over before he even turns up. It wasn't. It was closer. He gets the wall in exactly the right position. It is still 2,000 gold, the lead for D+. Not a lot has actually changed off the back end of that, but it's good to see that BNK still has the fight in it.
I think what's big is the fact that BNK FairX, as we've said so many times, they always go for these comps with multiple engage threats. So if the flank is a bit away, you can't just sit there and wait and kind of maybe do the objective or disengage. BNK FairX can start the fight with that Lee, with that Leona, with that Ashe as they're coming in, and you end up getting pincered if you don't make immediate moves. So it's very hard to react to. We do see Closer just will be able to pick up this tower here and answer that one taken earlier.
It's another Drift, by the way. Infernal Soul on the cards, second game in a row. I think that's beautiful. I think that's extremely poignant for this series. As Weaver's wall to get Closer out of there, and it is going to work to a treat.
And you know, look at the gold. Aiming has so much, no surprise, but so much is on him, and I think that makes the game plan so easy for BNK FairX. If you kill aiming, you wipe so much gold from D+'s total, and he is without some, so you know what they're going to do every single team fight.
That's what they're going to be looking for, and she is pretty painfully stationary a lot of the time, especially when you press R. So it is certainly going to be something that I imagine Raptor's job is going to be looking for that. Not having to deal with the Talia on the enemy team is very, very important for this Lee Sin. His ways in are actually quite large.
With how BNK FairX play, I think it's everyone's job to look.
Well, very true, very true.
There's no shortage of members of your team who are willing to try and kill the enemy AD carry. It's just who gets that first.
See whether we are going to see Raptor finding any of these cool kick flash angles. Moham coming on over. Lucid being a little bit quiet this game. Of course, was fantastic in the first few skirmishes. But otherwise, looking forward to seeing some of these Nature's Grasps to see whether Lucid can really turn some of these fights. Because right now, BNK are clawing their way back in this game. And a lot of the differences that we see in a lot of these series is that there's one team that's just able to eke out more gold on the map. This has been both teams, one after the other, finding angles to move it back towards them each time. It's not the snowball starting to roll down. It's a game of ping pong when it comes to this gold. And so we're seeing it just stay so incredibly even, which is why we're getting so many of these amazing team fights that are so extremely close.
And we see B&K FairX go for a gambit there where they'll let the dragon go, they'll try and get a tier 2 tower top, but kind of forgetting about the GP ultimate that just immediately puts a stop to the push.
Does help with the macro play a lot.
Yeah, and so as a result, D+ get dragon, and they don't really lose anything for it.
Closer's still going to be able to shove this one through. I mean, I guess they lose the cooldown, but Kingan's going to have that one back up relatively soon. He's got his Trinity Force done. One of them is done as well for Clear at the same time, but these Trinity Force spikes coming in for Showmaker and Kingan going to be very, very important. As aiming, it's been a while since he's made items, and he is going to pick up now a BF sword.
He's close to Infinity Edge, and that's
a
pretty
big
monumental spike. I mean, you're still going to get the utility from the Ashe. Oh, speaking of the Ashe.
Ooh.
And a sense of something. You see, even Lucid sweeps. He's like, is there a ward here? Like, the way he just backed off seems as though there's a ward here.
Yep.
Nope, he just knew now was the time to leave. Good sensors on the side of B&K FairX in this situation. Now trying to contest his control ward.
I was expecting that Duro was just going to go in. Perhaps even just flash it. But he holds onto it. He wants to have a flash that he can use at a moment's notice. Up and available right now is aiming. He's got a minion wave to deal with as the Baron now up and available. Been there for about 35 seconds. Red buff, the consideration now for Lucid. Wants to give that to everyone. Raptor connecting a Q to it though. As a battle for the Brambleback is upon us. Showmaker Valkyries away from the seismic shove as the arrow's going to connect onto the tree. The chain CC is gigantic, but he's kicked away too early. He finds the shield, and now Duro is a little bit too far up. I believe red buff was secured there by B&K, so I guess they got what they were looking for. But a teleport going to need to be invested here as Clear comes down to deal with Kingan.
Too much invested on the Maokai, and they didn't save anything to stop the MF ultimate. That needs to be the goal in these fights. Anytime aiming can free cast it, you're going to lose out. And now slow start to come in.
Yeah.
Has a blast going, so he will be safe. But mid-tier 1 is the cost of that play. And D+ pretty happy with how they navigated that one.
Not going to change the gold very much. However, having that extra map control, a huge deal. And this gangplank has really proved to be massive as Showmaker tagged by the Q because Lucid flashed over it somehow. That was very, very cool. But still, they get the flash out of the Maokai. That is good news for B&K, I guess. Safeguard used in response.
Yep, managed to get something out of Lucid. It was crazy he survived that last fight without flashing.
Yeah.
Is the real takeaway. But tries to find Raptor there, doesn't succeed. And this game feels like there's just these pockets of action, but both teams fishing again for those summoners, trying to find any advantage. You can see aiming so far ahead in gold and has the summoners back up for this next dragon fight in 2 minutes. I feel like, honestly, if B&K FairX can burn his summoners before the fight, it'd be ideal. But you'll see here, this is kind of a reminder. So ult dropped on a Lucid by the Leona and then by the Lee Sin. And those are your main ways of stopping the Maokai, the Ashe ult as well. And so this free cast ult comes through from aiming. No one's there to stop. It's a full channel. And sure, it doesn't kill anyone because Raptor flashes away, but certainly ends the fight there.
Really does. Arrow you saw, picture in
Cleanse.
picture. Yeah, Cleanse is now down for aiming.
Well, that's big.
Yeah, Henna throws that one into him. So Henna with his couple of items now completed. It's been a little bit of a silent achiever this game. As that's a little bit better. That's a full IE indifference as far as money is concerned, something like that.
Well, I think that makes it even clearer what the game plan needs to be.
Yeah, I think kill misfortune is yes, the thing.
There's been a lot of games like this for D+, where aiming has a ton of gold, and the goal for the enemy team is kill aiming.
Yeah.
This one, not too different from that, but you have to say, if you commit too much to kill aiming, and you don't have gas left in the tank, there is a Corki and a GP on some pretty powerful spikes there.
And the two tanks can really cause a ruckus as well. I think that as far as having a lot of CC is concerned, like Rel and Maokai, certainly pretty high up there.
Yeah, double locket though. It doesn't work completely. Maybe, I'm hoping they'll try and
you stagger them, right?
Fight. Yeah, because if you use them too close together, the shield is reduced by like 75%.
Right.
So not the greatest.
Well, got a Weaver's Wall coming down. They're looking for aiming, who's kind of trapped in this one, but the Nature's Grasp is going to be the response. Now Showmaker, good position. He brings Duro with him, and they just execute the Leona. That was gorgeously played. And B&K now just without their support, a 4 versus 5, and Clear with a Nabar in decent position. Still just looking for an angle onto Showmaker. Can he be the hero? Gets the Valkyrie. that is about it. And he
still
really
has
wants to
ult,
make
but he's
use of
looking.
this. Yeah, there it is. The cone, he's going to land it onto 3! And that is so much damage. Clear now so incredibly low. They do get the twisted advance out of Lucid. And B&K just, there's not enough left in the tank. It is going to be the Dragon going over to D+, and that is another soul point for them.
The damage aiming is doing, and the banana brush angle able to just shred through B&K FearX there. They won't be able to get this Dragon, and now soul point for D+. And we know how the scaling favors them.
Yeah, it's feeling very, very difficult. We're going to check it out one more time, though. It looked like a decent angle here from Closer.
It just feels like they're trying to get onto Moham, and he flashes away, and they don't have a way to get onto aiming now. They then try and reapproach, and it just feels like they've been on the back foot in terms of setups, because when they... Oh, now they are starting Baron.
Okay.
A lot more interesting than the rest of this fight. Let's take a look.
Yeah, let's just turn our attention to this purple worm. Everyone knows exactly what's going on here. Flank angle, great Narbar from Clear, but his health bar isn't entirely full. The teleport is coming on forward. He throws a house around. Good wallop timing, but Kingin, he's got oranges to eat and time to eat it as well. As the Baron going down lower and lower. Lucid looking for an angle to get himself in here. Can he actually lock this one down? The chain CC onto the Maokai is not the MF because she doesn't actually have the ultimate available. The Lee Sin is dead though. There are no smites left in this fight. And Closer is just going to get flashed on point blank from Showmaker. And he puts up the surprise Teemo. They're wondering what the heck that attempt was because DK just wiped them.
Desperation for B&K FearX. They know the time is against them. They try and force a Baron, but they're not able to deal with D+. They just get collapsed in on, and you can see Clear trying to find this flank angle, jumps in, but he's met immediately by the TP from King, and he comes in and just starts shredding him. Look how low Clear gets just from the GP here. And while this is going on, Moham threatening this flank angle, moving in, and Raveldir thrown towards him. They try and commit to the Maokai, but it cost them 2 members to take him out, and then Henna stuck with a Rel on top of you and a Cannon Barrage too. Closer can't even take down Showmaker, and Clear gets finished off by Kingin. Swept in there from D+, didn't give them a hope.
That was beautifully done, and that was Moham without Magnet Storm available. Just crash down, utilized to lock up Henna in that Baron pit. It was beautifully done, and now they have Soul Point, but they also have a 5,000 gold lead. 2,000 on the Red Bull Baron power play, and that is only going to extend. Look at this. It is a catastrophic shelf that we have set up here.
And you look at the items coming in. QSS now for aiming. Level 16, max rank ultimate. Rapid fire cannon for Showmaker. The damage is not only here, but it's when you start getting these utility items like the QSS, the extra range of the rapid fire, where you really start to feel painful. Henna just isn't doing enough damage at this point, and it's finding it really hard to position against the likes of a GP when he throws the Cannon Barrage down.
And it feels like the GP, as this game goes on, is just so much pressure that B&K are going to find more and more difficult to deal with. In a Baroned up situation here, having him in a side lane, still being able to Cannon Barrage if someone is split pushing or if there is a fight that's going to break out on the other 4, it's so incredibly powerful in these instances. So expect to see this Rebel Baron power play really extend. You can see already up to 4K, and Arrow will connect. It's actually brought with Showmaker here as the seismic shove will be avoided. He does a lot of damage, but not enough, and will be taken out. There's the pick. Beautifully done from B&K, but is it going to be enough to actually win this one out as Raptor has his eyes on Moham, will connect the Q. That's not the target he was looking for. They're still corralling. Lucid going to take the next one. Raptor now a little bit further extended than he wants to be, but he'll put down a teleport ward here for Closer to make his way in. Make it rain comes down. Lucid trying to be that front line. Is Henna gonna get turned on? Death Daughter just destroys him. There goes the Talir as well, and Duro. Oh my goodness, Clear gonna try and save it with a big ulti, but they've been overextended. They were looking for the angle, but the punishment, it doesn't work. Mini-Nut destroyed here by aiming, and D+. Their backs were against the wall. Game 2, they were losing until they stole the game, and this time, they just outthought B&K, and they will walk through. They will win this epic series in 3 games.
10th series win this summer from D+, and they managed to clutch it out. A super back and forth series ends with a game where they really take control and finish it in less than 30 minutes. Huge performance to close this one out from the side of D+.
I have to say as well, look at aiming. He's like, congratulations to Moham, but by the way, we have to shake their hand. I can imagine pretty overwhelmed is the young player. Hats off to him though. My God, what incredible tenacity here from all of these players. I want to say, like, especially Showmaker having such a rough series in the first 2 games, comes back and plays really well. Even though his laning phase didn't go that well. D+, what a way to secure playoff position. I had to work for it though, my God.
It was a battle, but they got there, and I feel like battles like these really give you some things to think about going into playoffs, give you things to problem solve, but still show that D+ really is a formidable opponent. And with how the standings are going, there's a good chance they'll get that 3rd place spot and be able to choose their opponent in the first round. And I think it brings you a lot of confidence knowing you took down BNK FearX, who were on a tear recently.
Yeah. Showmaker saying thanks to the sponsor there. And oh man, I am tired. And I wasn't even the one playing as, aiming. This is where the camera belongs. Moham, what an absolutely heroic performance from this guy. And I think that we have seen that Kellen hasn't necessarily had the clutch factor, you know, as far as like when these games go really long, being able to stick with it. Moham just demonstrated in a trial by fire that he does.
Yep, and ultimately we didn't know the reasoning behind the shift between Moham and Kellen, but all we can say is that Moham did a fantastic job, and in a series
he looked good.
Challenged, he showed he can hang with the best of them. This fight's so scrappy, but ultimately the re-engage turnaround got a fantastic amount of value. And then this one was the one where it looked like BNK FearX maybe back in the game, maybe found their way into it.
This wasn't to be the case, unfortunately. Aiming caught out of position, but that was the last time. And in the game prior, it felt like Aiming was kind of getting caught out multiple times. It's why a lot of these back and forths were occurring. But in this instance, a little bit of desperation here as BNK realized that the clock was against them. And Showmaker, when he's flashing forward and he's putting up the surprise Teemo, that's when you know things are rough.
Oh, in this moment, look at Kingen and what he does to Henna, just eviscerates him. And this, on the top side, the Moham aiming combo. I mean, everyone knew the play was coming for BNK FearX, but DK choosing just the perfect timing to turn it around and get the play.
Yep, that's the 4v5 angle, and if you just immediately destroy the Ashe, then it's not a 4v5 angle anymore. Duro taken down here, and Showmaker, look at him. He is ready to go home, and I think he deserves a good night's rest after that one as well, as he was in the death chamber while that last fight was happening. Lucid tanking up the turret here, making such good use of his locket in this game. Yep, and they were talking about the Ashe arrow aiming, just apologizing for not being able to dodge any of the Ashe arrows. Thanks for the carry and things like this. My goodness, what an incredible marathon of a series. One of my favorites of the year.
Yeah, I mean, I think the ending a lot more decisive from D+. The thing is, obviously, they've locked in playoffs. BNK FearX face Quandon Freaks later this week. They need to win that now. I feel like that is the one they have to. It's do or die.
Yep.
After this performance, I think they're in with a good spot. It'd be really sad not to see this team make playoffs after the growth they have shown.
Oh, 100%. After this series, if they're not in playoffs, I'm going to feel like we were all robbed.
Yep.
So let's see what they can actually get done in that Saturday Showdown in a couple of days' time, and that one's going to be coming up. But now we're going to head over to the space to break down that incredible series.
오늘의 두 번째 매치
Thank you very much, guys. This is Jason for the VOD interview translation, joined by Kingen and Aiming. And with this victory, D+ Kia is advancing to the playoffs. Let's interview the VOD winners, Kingen and Aiming, after their very long series up against BNK FearX. Aiming, you secured a playoff spot after a very hard-fought victory. How do you feel? It feels absolutely amazing to make it to the playoffs, and it means a lot because we got to kind of like bounce back and pick up multiple wins and secure a spot in the playoffs. And Kingen, you know, today's match was extremely long and it must have been physically exhausting. So how did you handle this? My life is all about having 3 gamers, you know, having a long series, so I'm used to it. So it doesn't really affect my concentration or focus.
에이밍 선수 오늘 D 플러스 기아의
Aiming.
로스터의 변동이
There
좀
was a
있었습니다.
change
에이밍
in D
선수의
plus
탑으로
Kia's
모함
roster
선수가
today.
선발 출전하게 됐는데요.
Moham started
어떤
as your
이유에서의
support.
기용인지 저희가
Can you
들어볼
tell
수
us the
있을까요?
reason behind this
일단
choice?
좀 다양한 이제 전략을 위해서 좀
It was in order
준비했고요.
to try
뭐
multiple
색다른 게,
tactics
네,
and
준비했던 것 같습니다.
strategies, and we wanted to try out some of the different team colors and play style.
1세트에 이어 2세트에도 역시 클리어 선수가 캐넨을
King in
선택했었는데요.
both
2세트 때는 킹
game 1 and 2, Clear picked Kennen. I think you were kind of thinking between Gragas and K'Sante in game 2 and then decided on Gragas. What led to this decision? Gragas and K'Sante are two different champions, you know. Gragas, you have to go for the clutch play in the laning phase and also in the team fights. But he cannot really like support the team, but for me, I am pretty confident in the Gragas play, starting from the laning phase, and also Gragas itself adds a lot of pressure to the enemies, especially their damage carries, so I wanted to play that role. Aiming, the second game was crazy, breaking the records for both most kills and longest game of the season. What was the most challenging aspects of BNK FearX? I kind of felt like BNK really prefers a dive comp, so it was pretty, you know, hard to deal with. But in the end, we were discussing how we're gonna kind of overcome that. And we had a base race in the end of game 2. It was a very thrilling play, so let's take a look at this replay.
이때 그라가스와 이즈리얼만 남아 있었던 상황이었는데요.
So only Gragas and Ezreal was left to kind of defend the base, and then King and you found the perfect angle with the body slam. So they had Elder and also Baron, you know. With the Elder buff, I was not sure how it's gonna end as well, but I just saw the angle of E flash. I was not like calculating everything. I just went for it.
에이밍 선수는 이때 좀 어떠셨나요?
Aiming, what was going through your head at that moment? Well, that Elder buff was so scary, but I was like, this is our last chance, so we had to, you know, find the angle. We had to thread the needle, but Lucid managed to find the angle and open the team fight, and then the follow-up from Kingen to the defender and Axis, and then the game was so on point. And we had a little bit of an emotional moment after that game to victory, but Kingen, you were maintaining your cold face. How did you pull that off? I mean, for me personally, I want to be like a machine when it comes to gameplay. You know, I want to be, you know, emotionless on stage. So when the rest of the players are like cheering or they're sad, I just try to just accept their emotion, but still I just want to keep calm and not get kind of taken over my own emotions. And then game 3, enemy rounded out the bottom lane comp with Ashley on a very strong lane duo. And then the answer coming from D plus Kia was Misfortune. So a lot of ban cards were invested to the AD carry role. So in the second phase, we were thinking what would be the best option for the AD carry. And then for team fight, Misfortune would be the best pick. And then you dealt an incredible amount of damage with your MF in game 3, reaching 2 core items by 14 minutes. How did you pull that off? I think one of my strengths is actually, you know, my carry potential and the way, how fast I scale and farm. So I think it also was displayed in that game. Then any tips on using the MF ult? So there are some certain angles where AD carries can find, so when the enemies are grouped up, I try to be in the right position to drop my ult. So in game 3, D plus Kia followed BNK FearX trying the Baron and engaged a fight and secured an ace. Could you break down the fight for us? So after we won the previous team fight, we were aware that they are gonna go for the you know, desperate Baron attempt, and we knew that they were gonna rush. So our reaction was so on point, and we had everything like calculated. Like when the Baron HP is like this amount low, we have to go for a fight and stuff like that. And today actually is Moham's birthday. Any birthday message for him?
우리 재훈이 모함 선수
dear Moham, Jaehoon.
선물로 승리 선물 해준
The
것
birthday
같아서
present
너무
is a
뿌듯하고
victory. I'm so proud of you.
같이 좋은 모습 많이
And I hope you can keep up the good work
네.
together and get more wins as well. Congratulations and happy birthday.
사실 제 생일에는 경기를 졌었거든요.
I lost my match on my birthday, so I don't know, but still glad that he managed to get a win on his birthday. And then after game 2, he came to me and aiming, could you do me a fighting? And then I gave him a really loud fighting, and I bet maybe it helped him to, you know, boost his confidence and get a win in game 3 as well. Now you have successfully advanced to the playoffs, so what aspects do you plan to refine during the remaining regular season games? Now that we secured a spot in the playoffs, I think, yeah, just like you said, refining our performance and making our gameplay more clean is the most important part, you know. Still today, even looking back at the series, it's a big relief that we won, but, you know, having the longest game, having the most kill doesn't really mean that you are doing great. So next time, I hope we can have a cleaner, you know, game and improve teamwork. From now on, I think we are solely going to focus on our performance that will be showcased at the playoffs. And aiming, would you like to add on to that? Yeah, playoffs definitely is the real deal, so we have to come back stronger in order to start up a great race at the playoffs and win it all until the end. So we will focus on that. And this will be the end of the interview from Aiming, King N, and back to the space. Thank you.